Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
You are listening to Wednesday Comics, brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com, Rainbow Comics, Cards, and Collectibles, and WednesdayComics.com.
Keep turning those pages. Do you want to start the show and then we can talk about it?
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my left, we have Ash himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
And across from me, we have Bishop himself. Garrett, how you doing?
What's up? I'll put some knives between your fingers.
And I am David, the newest robot. We're talking about aliens. It was Alien Day yesterday.
That's right.
We're not talking about aliens. I'm just saying.
We're androids.
Alien, the franchise.
The franchise.
Let's clarify, not E.T.
Ridley Scott, James
Alan
Cameron,
Ripley.
David Fincher, some French guy.
Yeah, whatever that shit Resurrection was, or whatever the last.
What's his name? And then Ridley Scott again with Prometheus. I don't know who made those Alien vs. Predator movies. Oh, no. Who's the guy who does Resident Evil? Paul W.S. Anderson.
Capcom.
Sure.
He did Alien vs. Predator. The first one, at least.
That first one was good. That second one, you can't even see the movie when it's like pitch
Yeah,
black.
actually, yeah, you can't. I saw that movie in theaters and I was like, what is going on? No clue. I did pick up Alien, what's it called?
Dead Orbit.
Dead Orbit. We all
Yeah.
did. Because the art looks freaking phenomenal.
I told you. When I was trying to explain on our new show.
I had to explain to Garrett where he's seen Stokey before.
Moon Knight.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
How
How come his line there's so much more to find than that, though?
What's that?
I think it's just the choice for the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm saying, like, in Moon Knight, there's not really defined lines when he does. I mean, there's lines, but I mean,
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The
I think
heavy
that's coloring.
shading and
this
like,
is all
sketching.
him. He wrote it.
Okay.
He colored it. Everything. Yeah, he's like really detailed. Like, it's like all this small. Like,
I like that
love
it's a
his art.
4-issue mini, and the art just looks fucking amazing.
yeah. I opened it up to the first page and I was like, "That's a Stokey I like."
You know what that makes me want to do? I want to play that Alien video game that I bought.
Which one? That one first person where you hide.
For Xbox One. No, that's the survival mode. There's an actual campaign.
Isolation.
Isolation, yeah.
You get scared though easily. You scare
That's why
yourself.
I fucking love it. It's the adrenaline.
Speaking of getting scared, no. Free Comic Book Day is coming up.
All I saw was you look at your crotch.
Well, I thought the chair was going to fall back, so I made sure I was going to fall. Free Comic Book Day, first Saturday in May,
Every year.
coming up.
Yeah, it definitely
May
is.
6th.
The one of our sponsors, Rainbow Comics and Cards, you can find them in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Lincoln, Nebraska. Their sales 50% off all comics except for the expensive ones up top, wall ones. Trade paperbacks 50% off, collections 50% off, and board games are 25% off. Good deal. Your boys in blue here be first in line.
Why do we sound like we're cops?
Yeah, right. As in, I'll be there, and then Alex will be there, and then Myra will show up like a half hour before.
I'll show up when it happens. You know,
When it happens.
you roll in.
We used to have a tradition. Now Marvin just keeps skimping on less and less each year over time.
Last year he was pretty close to being on time. Actually, I think you beat me last year.
Well, that's because
No way.
I'm pretty sure.
Did you guys come together?
No, because I had to work.
last year I had a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, so I could sleep in on Friday. But now I get off at midnight on Friday. And if you want to get X23, that's the day to get it, right?
You fucking dick.
Now you want to say?
Are you still getting that?
Probably it's gone already. It's gone.
Is it really?
Is it?
Yeah, probably because of exposure on a certain podcast that
Nice.
comes out on Sundays.
Or you don't think a certain movie, Logan?
Huh?
You don't think a certain movie made people buy that?
No.
No.
That's why they would get the all new X-Men.
What, you doubt our popularity, Marvin?
Or a
you
brand
doubt?
new launch of all new Wolverine? You don't think that did anything?
That's regardless. I already have all those. I don't need that.
Jeez.
Wait, what are you going to get the old X23?
No.
Okay. So paranoid. Nobody wants what you want.
Yes, it's not there.
If it's gone that day, I'll find it for you.
How about
Notice I didn't say I would buy it for you. I'll
Honest-
find it for you.
You'll find it for me. Yeah,
Google
sure.
search.
He'll be like, hey, look at that guy's hands. He's holding it.
Hey,
Hey, to be fair, I've had that before though, where I went and picked up something, then someone found me going, "Oh, you're the one who got that book," and you're just like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Why do you get Turtles, right?
It was that Turtles, the volume 2 or 3 that kid was going to take from me.
But yeah, that's always a fun day. I mean, it's basically
is.
like
We get our McGriddles.
It's like the red carpet. Are you going to be there in time to get McGriddles? I mean,
What do you mean? Breakfast all day now?
huh?
He's got a point. He doesn't have to
man.
be there with us to get it.
He'll get it to go while he parks on the road like 6 blocks away. We'll be like, he'll come walking in. It's like, open in 15 minutes. Let's eat these McGriddles.
That made me laugh.
Every year I spill McDonald's myself without fail. And then I
I
go.
clean it out of the chairs I bring for you guys every year.
I think the sad thing is I always think about bringing my own chair. Like I planned it out. Oh yeah, I got to bring that chair. Then like 2 days beforehand, I'll clean out that chair out of my car. Then go to the shop and go, oh shit, forgot my chair.
You want to know how crazy I get about Free Comic Book Day? Like I already have a checklist that I have to check off for this Sunday night for next Saturday.
See,
Make sure I have it all prepared, ready to
the
go.
last 2 years I've had to work right when they open.
Well,
Well, maybe you shouldn't work so early.
the sale's going for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
I know.
You
This is
go
the first
afterwards.
year.
I think they're open until 8 that day. You can double check
I'm
with them.
actually pretty excited about this. I showed fan of the show, Corey Walls, that they had
You mean
Cowboys
Guest House 1?
movies.
Guest house fuckface? I mean, one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Spider-Man fan only. That they had, you'll know this, Marvin, Cowboys Mumesa comic books. Mind was
I
blown.
thought you told me that they had a comic. You knew that.
I told
already.
you that they made them, but the shop had never had them.
Oh, yeah, they got some in.
And my brain exploded when I saw them.
Cowboy what?
Cowboys of
Blue
Mumesa.
They're walking, talking cows.
Around the time of the Teenage
Oh, that
Mutant
would
Ninja
so
Turtles.
be a book that you would get.
Oh,
Street Sharks.
yep.
You don't know
Anything-
this?
You know the weird thing? We're talking about a book. There's only almost too many animals in a book that I'm getting.
That one, yeah.
That's Alex's bread and butter. Walking animals.
Oh, it really is. And even me
Walking,
saying
talking.
that there's
Excuse
too
me.
many
Walking,
animals.
talking animals. Not just
Right.
walking.
If they're regular animals, like his interest is peaked. If they're talking, he's like passed out. He's so excited.
So that's
He likes.
And me, I'm
that's why he
like,
likes the turtles so much.
I dropped that book.
If the turtles were, if the turtles were human, you'd be out.
Oh, if they were, I don't know.
Nah, I think you'd be out.
I'd probably be out. I don't
Yeah,
think.
Alopex would probably look like a little bitch that I want to kick in the face all the time. So whenever she's in that book, I'm like,
Hey, I saw
hate
somebody did
this.
a Twitter poll recently, and Michelangelo got the least number of votes for favorite turtle.
I've actually heard that a lot. That Mikey's not as popular.
He got like 13%, and
But I
everybody
think
else
it's
got like
'cause
33.
They make him dumber and dumber.
How can people like Donnie more than anybody else?
Because Donnie is the best out of that group. So
Holy
You know,
shit!
in some aspects, usually it's Leonardo who kills Shredder, but in alternate universes, sometimes it's Donatello who kills him.
Leo's the worst character on that team.
No,
Absolutely not, Donatello.
you know, in all honesty, Mikey probably is the worst. But I like Mikey because he's just all fun and stupid.
Right.
But honestly, if we have to go with a character that I'd probably relate with the most, would be Raph. Zero patience for anything.
So Raph's basically Batman.
Yeah, I know. You always pick Mikey, but you're Raph.
And say, in all honesty, I'd be Raph is the one I should.
You always
be
say that
connecting.
Corey is, but I've seen that guy only get mad like once or twice in my life. You?
Who?
Weekly basis.
Actually, I could see your
Corey is the control. Corey would be a Leo because he's just like really like he keeps it in,
Leo.
but then when he
He's got-
lets it
he's got
out,
discipline.
he fucking rips you up.
So maybe yeah. We're
He's
right.
the guy when everybody else is having fun, he's in the corner working out. That's Leo.
It sounds like
right.
he's jerking it.
I'm done.
Clearly, Marvin's Donnie. Does that make me Mikey?
You have to be.
Yeah.
You've always been Mikey.
You are Mikey
Yeah, I
because
suppose.
the one that everybody likes.
You're
The
the
least.
I just assumed you're the one that makes the most jokes that no one laughs
Yeah, I
at.
make everybody laugh.
And you like pizza the most. No, that's this guy.
I like pizza.
Dude, I love pizza.
Hey, you know what?
Pizza
Actually,
Hut.
the
And they
second-
actually sponsor Pizza Hut, so
since we brought
Come
up
at me.
pizza, what's your guys? I know where you stand on this. Pepperoni, pineapple on pizza. That's been a big thing on the internet.
fuck no.
Fuck yes.
Holy shit, we get the opposite.
Canadian
ruin a
bacon,
pizza?
pineapple, Hawaiian. Oh my
Canadian
gosh.
bacon. Oh, gross. I want real bacon.
His favorite pizza is Hawaiian.
I love Hawaiian.
Really? Go to
Yes.
Hawaii then.
Oh my god, it is the
You don't
best.
like pineapple whatsoever.
It's fine. I've had it before, but when I can have my like all meat pizza with some olives,
Nope.
garlic,
Nope.
not really anchovies.
I-
But if you tempt me, I'll get those bad boys.
I've never
on
had
there.
anchovies.
Dude, they're fucking amazing.
I've never had it either. It just
I think a part
Don't
of
knock
that,
it till you try it.
well, I think the only thing is
Texture-wise, I don't
you
think it
hear
works
shit
on a
about
pizza.
anchovies. That's like, oh, I've never had it.
But the garlic makes that.
for pineapple. Actually, when I found out, I don't like Canadian bacon either. So I'm not on the Hawaiian train, but I do like pepperoni and pineapple together. It's good for me. Pepperoni's a little spicier, so I like it.
I could do like even Italian sausage pineapple. I can do a meat.
That sounds disgusting.
You know what's the best pizza?
it sounds too dirty almost for me.
Bacon chicken Alfredo pizza from Domino's. Fuck
That sounds good. You know what's worse about pineapple though? You got to eat it when it's hot, and
Otherwise, it'll cool off.
If you put it leftovers in the thing, not good. Not good when you warm it up.
Pop will eat that too.
It's not
Chris,
good.
you know what I have for breakfast? If I have it, pizza.
Damn.
Breakfast
Yep,
of
that's a
champions.
turtle
This
saying
guy in
right there.
college. Pizza,
Mac and cheese
mac
and
and
hot
cheese,
dogs.
and hot dogs. That's
The
this guy's
pizza that
diet.
tops every fucking pizza on the planet is breakfast pizza. So,
Oh, no.
have you ever had
Get out of
Casey's
town.
breakfast pizza?
Yeah, I have.
I've had
Holy
it.
shit.
It's
It
good,
is
but it's
good.
not the best.
It's good, but
Breakfast
I couldn't
pizza's
eat.
the
I couldn't
best.
eat the whole pizza on my own. Where
Top 5.
Huh?
It's top 5, but it's not.
It's top one.
Yeah.
Red Baron, 4 meat pizza. That's number 3. Pizza Hut, all meat, 2.
oh, here's my top 4.
Traditional crust.
Hawaiian breakfast pizza. Actually, the all meat from Old Chicago.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That was my
That's
my
authentic.
that'd be my top 4.
See, when I was in New York and I had some New York pizza just recently, like, it was okay. It was like brick oven cooked, but they make it so, like, flimsy. Like, it falls
Yeah,
apart.
yeah.
It's
So
just,
it
it's
is.
so long. It's like huge slices, but like the pizza's like paper thin. So putting toppings on it, you pick it up and just like.
You remember that the pizza place Italy
gotta
that
fold
was
it.
next to Marvin's old apartment or townhouse?
Yeah.
Italy.
We went
Yeah.
there once.
Fan.
I paid Marvin $5 for that
pizza.
pizza.
I
You know what?
You,
You know what
still owe
happened?
$5 for that pizza.
You know what happened? So I had an Android phone, and then the next one I got was an iPhone. So I backed up for my old phone. Italy's number popped up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I remember that place."
God, I wish
Damn.
that was one of the best pizzas.
It was cheap too.
Yeah.
For $20,
It was
you got
like it was like double layered pizza too. Oh
the best.
shit.
I don't know what happened to them. I guess they were in a spot that not that many people saw them. So
Yeah, I
Didn't
mean
they
Billy
have-
Frogs was there. I mean,
Didn't they have the big
you got
city
to work
burrito next door too?
That's what the keg used to be.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Over there on with the golf addiction places, golf
Yeah.
addiction.
Well, we would, instead of talking about our, oh god, pizza sounds fucking good.
I know. I really want a pizza.
Brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com, your definitive online source for all things Swamp Thing, featuring news, reviews, and a comprehensive chronology of the Swamp Thing. All in Files #1 is currently sold out. Issue 2 is in production. Make sure to follow John on Twitter at DCWorldSwampy or on Facebook.com/rootsoftheswampthing. That is rootsoftheswampthing.com for more of the green. Speaking of pizza, you know what it looks like? Looks
Call
like
that pizza boy. Tell him to throw it
It
upstairs.
looks like a button. So speaking of Flash 21
Nothing like a
by
button.
Joshua Williamson. You don't think pizza looks like a button? It's round circle.
What's the crust?
Art by Howard Porter. This is part 2 of the button. And
I
so
like
you guys-
Marvin's commentating voice versus his actual voice. It's like 2 pitches higher.
so what do you guys think of the button part?
The button. What I think about the button is, I love it. I mean, this whole story is just great because basically it plays off the nostalgia of being a fan of the DC Comics for like probably the most recent 15.
It feels
10 to 15
It does feel
years.
like a
I mean-
payoff from Flashpoint, from New 52,
Right.
all that stuff.
Right.
The only thing I would say about this issue compared to issue 1, I think issue 1 had more finesse. It was like, I think that was like almost
Yeah.
like the perfect issue. This one kind of felt just like a normal.
If I was to give issue 1 would be actually a 10 out of 10.
Right.
This for me was an 8. It
Yeah,
was
this
good.
was 8 for me, too.
It was good. The art was.
I like the art.
I give it a 9 because the last 2 pages got me misty.
Oh nope! I felt nothing for that.
Well, you didn't
I
read
like the
Flashpoint though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
You said you didn't.
That's the first thing you.
Oh, that's the first thing
That's the first thing I got on.
That's how he jumped on. Yeah, the way that it came there, like the paneling and the framing and stuff like that, was more generic than the first one. The first one was
Right.
all 6-panel grids, and it was like a throwback to Watchmen. It's all 6-panel grids,
Right.
And this was just like, oh, here's another issue.
Well, that was Howard Porter's art. I mean, he used to write. draw JLA all the time. So
Nothing. I like the
Yeah.
art. I like that the art was great. But
the thing about his art compared to like who did the first one?
the first issue was Jason Fabak.
Right, Jason Fabak is like Howard Porter's so good at putting like detailed things in his art. So it's kind of like Sean Murphy where he throws a bunch of
What do
shit
you think of that
everywhere.
page, Lost and Found?
That was pretty awesome.
That was pretty good. I saw
See
a lot
the
of
Fate
DC.
helmet on the right side.
Yeah,
was
I saw
really cool.
Martian Manager's first costumes in there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good stuff in that.
I don't know why the beetle.
What was in the
thing is
box?
there. What box?
In the front, front leftish corner.
Gwyneth
Was it-
Paltrow's head.
I thought it was Parallax.
Spoilers.
It's not Parallax though.
Huh?
It couldn't have been Parallax, right? It was a big yellow thing inside there.
I don't know what it was.
Well, I assume not. Parallax is with Sinestro, so
Right. They're dead.
goners.
So the Cosmic Treadmill, I think I would have been more like, ooh, about the Cosmic Treadmill if it wasn't in the entire run of the New 52. Like they make it seem like they never use it. I'm like, pretty sure like
Yeah.
a year ago you were using it
Yeah.
all the time.
I was gonna say he made it seem like since Flashpoint you put it away,
Right.
and it's like, nah, well, it's been
Yeah.
around.
I
What do
feel
you
like
think?
I may not know enough about Flash, but my question would be: can Batman actually be attached? If he's attached to the treadmill, can he actually travel with Batman? So as long as you're
You just saw it.
Flash.
Hey, they answered your question in this issue too. You were asking how fast does he heal? I guess the next day he was like, "Let me go along with you." He didn't
Bruce,
care.
yeah. I was say Bruce is ridiculously fat. I mean, he's almost got a
He
bit
was like
fatter
near
than Old
death,
Man
and
Logan.
he was
Right.
like, "Let's go."
At first, when he had that bat thing hooked up to him, I thought that was some kind of like fucking something analyzing his body,
Yeah,
and he's just like holding
like life
onto the-
support?
yeah, like this is like bat life support. I'm like,
But no, he was like,
he's like limping. He's like, I'm
attached to
coming too.
It wouldn't surprise me that Batman would have like, I think there's adrenaline in this batarang for me.
I find it weird that he was freaking out. He was like, "Are these alternate realities?" And it's like,
I think that was actually one thing that bugged me is at the end of it, I realized his father's been dead for years and years and years and years. To see your dad just as bad, probably does catch you by surprise. But I also don't believe that Bruce would be that surprised. Bruce,
think so.
Bruce
To
seems,
see your father
Bruce
when you
seemed-
spend your whole life dedicated to avenging their deaths.
if anything, I
Bruce
think that's
seemed
the
kinda
one
dumb.
thing that'll throw him off is his parents.
yeah.
His whole thing is based on his parents.
lies.
And do you,
I mean, that's true, but
did you when you read Flashpoint, like how like dedicated Thomas is to like the whole reason he helps Flash in the first place is the chance that his son might live. So he's basically pulling a Jor-El for Superman.
I guess I understand Thomas being surprised.
Well,
But
Thomas isn't surprised. He was right behind him. He surprised them.
And so they show up, and he's like, "This is like when I first started." But then he notices the gun. He goes, "I never recovered that gun."
Right.
And then he was like, "Oh wait!" He turned it on. And so they're in the Flashpoint universe. I assume that's the only place Thomas
Yeah,
exists.
it's
Like-
I was gonna say it's got to be Earth 2,
Wait,
right?
didn't he exist in Earth 2?
Who?
Yeah.
Thomas Wayne?
Yes.
Yeah. So there.
So which one is this? Flashpoint or Earth 2?
There's all kinds of
Earth
alternate
2.
realities.
I bet you anything because
I don't
they
know.
show Jay Garrick's helmet. He said
They do.
they're hinting towards it.
Well, because Earth 2 just ended. Literally.
Is that who the first guy, the old 90-year-old, is?
No,
No. That's Mr.
Lightning.
Thunder, right?
something like that. He's part of Shazam's repertoire.
No. He's part of JLA. Jay Garrick
Which
was
one?
the guy who Flash.
First Flash.
He said, "I keep seeing this helmet."
Yeah.
Of Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Jay Garrick's helmet.
So is he a Flash?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
first Flash.
Okay. So that was the 90-year-old that's going
No,
crazy.
that's
That was
somebody else.
Thunder.
Yeah,
Okay. So the first guy I see, just an old man, Thunder.
that was
Right.
the guy from DC Universe, the 80-page special that they thought he was crazy. And he's like, "No, my JLA buddies, where are they at?" Not
I don't know
JLA.
if I know much about
JSA,
that character.
Society.
Justice Society.
Okay.
And they also was in the same group that we saw Stargirl in. So
Oh, okay. So it's making more sense now.
Yeah.
these are all people like basically lost in time. Like they're all.
Right.
They're
Their memories have been altered.
so they're not like Wally
Well, I think
West.
they remember, but nobody knows them.
They're starting to
Nobody
remember.
knows who
Yeah.
they are.
Okay.
Right.
So
Okay, now it's making more sense. So that wasn't the Flash, but the Flash is the helmet that he keeps seeing. That Flash keeps seeing. Okay.
in terms of an overall story and crossover, I really like these two issues a lot.
Oh,
we have two
definitely.
more left, and it feels really like they know what they want to do. It feels really strong and contained. Like it doesn't feel like they don't know where they're going. They know where they're going. You know
I
what
doubt it's going to happen, but you know when Batman's flipping the coin between his knuckles,
button?
the button, I mean, how badass would that be at the last page with the comedian just flicking around that button? But
he's dead.
Huh?
He's dead.
Yeah, so's Rorschach.
That's his bullet on the button.
Huh?
How would he be flipping it if he's dead?
Did you see the clock was reset? The clock was ahead.
No, I didn't see that.
You know what I liked about this issue was that
In the reword,
when,
the 80 page? Sorry, I know I'm cutting you off, but like
Oh,
the
yeah,
clock's
Dr.
before.
Dr. Manhattan.
Before. Yeah.
when the Flash, you're getting all the, are they called prose or just his inside monologue? When he's talking about, I can do this forensic thing. I can talk to Hal. I can talk
His
to the people,
internal
and they don't
monologue.
really know what they don't care. But Bruce and I could talk about this all day long. I was like, I like that. That's like a
No,
good.
he's recovering in bed, and he's like, "What's the evidence?"
Yeah,
It's
right.
like,
He doesn't care.
he doesn't have an off day. And Alfred helps out again.
Of course. I found it weird, and it was just maybe the artist choice on how Barry goes from standing next to Reverse Flash, and as he runs, and he's so fucking fast that there's still a little bit of like his flash or
Right.
echo.
I actually like the way that they showed that in this.
I
issue.
think it's cool. I just thought,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of creepy even.
I also noticed for a second I looked at it and he had the police tape, And I was like, "Who the fuck's gonna go down there?" Like it's
Yeah, I know. That's what.
But then I noticed actually he's using the tape to show where Reverse Flash and Batman fought. Yeah, their path. And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Right. At first, I was like, "Are there cops in the Batcave?" Right?
But he just cares
strong
about
8. I give it a strong 8. It's good.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8. I couldn't give it a 9.
Overall, is the whole thing.
Yeah.
9.
The cover of the next issue of Batman looks great.
I don't remember what that one was.
It's
have to look at it
Thomas
later.
Wayne Batman on the front cover.
That's still one of my favorite Flashpoint minis.
Yeah, I know that fucking
Was that
book
one?
was amazing. I was almost going to say our feature tonight should have been just talking about Flashpoints, but
I haven't read that in so long, so I wouldn't.
I know. But I could jog your memory. Like I still got story points in my head that I can just throw out there.
So we got a book that finally ended. Unfollow number 18. Not written by Joshua Williamson, like I said on the forecast, but written by Rob Williams and art by Michael Dowling. What'd you think of this ending? Did you read 16, 17, 18 back to back? Okay.
Meh.
I honestly hated it. I didn't.
It was lame.
Just was on. Now, Marvin, you didn't read it, right?
What?
You didn't read 16, 17, 18?
Yeah, I did. I read it
you?
all.
Okay.
Yeah. I like this issue. I know I was
How?
going to be the odd man out here, but well, I mean, the thing is that I'm past the point of like they rushed it. That's in the past. This is the final issue. So, like as in terms of like a final issue. So the way I thought of it was like let's ignore that they flash forward. How does this work as an ending? And I thought it worked out. You get a lot of closure, and I like that the main bad guy turns out to just be like this guy, like this bully behind a computer. When they finally get to him, and he's like runs away, and he's like, "Oh shit!" and he gets eaten by a jaguar,
Which was awesome. That honestly was the best
cool.
part.
That was cool.
And I know Garrett's favorite part of this whole issue. Watching him bang.
I saw that and I was like, "Holy shit, Garrett's
Those
gonna go
tits look
crazy
weird.
tonight."
She looks like she hasn't
I thought that was weird.
That is a
That-
very
it was
weird
just a
choice.
weird sex scene out of nowhere.
In
but
the
also,
wild.
But also, I believe
just,
it.
like,
I
butt
believe
humping
it's
her?
like they just basically survive death, and it's like,
Yeah.
well,
But it's weird
got
that he didn't
adrenaline
want to
going.
face her.
You got to make it count, because you never know what's going to happen. Like
He was like, I don't need to see your face. I
and
just
then
need
he
your pussy.
goes back home and dies. The dragon finally gets him.
who's the dragon? Like
Yeah,
who
I
is
don't remember
that?
the
I don't even
background.
remember who
He showed
is.
up in a different issue, I believe.
I
Deacon
cannot
kept talking
remember.
about the dragon.
I know, but like that guy, I know he's from the first couple issues, but I was like,
That's the thing, though.
I don't care. I'm like, cool. Like it wasn't a big surprise for me. I was like,
The jump made me have to think about like, okay, where are we now? Where are we now? That I really don't remember what happened at the beginning. But also, like, it turns out see. The thing is that so he had cancer. What's his name? The main bad guy.
Pharrell.
He's-
Larry Pharrell.
So Mr. Pharrell
Larry Pharrell, yeah.
got cancer. The doctor put him in remission, and he's like, basically, he was going to do the experiment to see what people react like when they're given everything and a chance to get all that money. How would they react if they got all that money? And then he goes to remission. He's like, fuck that, I want my money back. So he hired people to kill everybody who was still remaining, and he's like, I'm just going to take it back. I thought that was like, I don't know if that was the plan all along. I don't know. It seems like you introduce a concept, and then you're basically like, fuck that concept. He's just going to kill everybody. I don't know. I thought it was weird. That's the only part I was like, okay.
I almost understand the greed where if you're not dying, why would you give your money away?
I guess that's true, but overall, like him and Akira were going back and back, but being philosophical, being like they liked running social experiments on people. And so when he decided he was alive, I don't know, like all of a sudden he just turned into a generic bad guy. He was like, I'm just going to kill everybody to save my money. That's what I thought. I was like,
We'll even
where's
call him
the...
out that you're not a James Bond villain.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like all of a sudden he became like power hungry when the whole time, like it wasn't before. The rest of it seemed cunning. It seemed like he had a plan in place, and then at the end it was just like, I just wanted my money back. I killed everybody.
And the weird thing is that when you go from issue 17 to 18, like you said, he just kind of became a generic bully when he was a Beastmaster in issue 17. Sits in the jungle, does meditation, attracts all these animals, eats a snake. What the hell happened from 17 to 18?
But I think actually going to that point, I think maybe, and like I said, he turned out to just be this bully behind a screen, is that maybe that they're trying to say that like this guy thought he was this big bad, but turned out that he wasn't. And Akira really was who he said he was. Like he lived that thing until his very death. He accepted that plane. And when it like stopped in front of him, he was like, oh shit, maybe I am powerful. And then he died. But at this one, he was like, he faced death and he ran away instead.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know what message this story was trying to portray, or Like, I don't know, just the ending, it just left me like literally the last 3 pages. I was just like,
I'm gonna say it's amazing. I give it a 7.
I know, I'm giving it a 6. Like,
I'm giving this last issue a 6 because there's to me nothing got really nicely wrapped up.
right, and like 140 when you end with 2, and then she's like, well, I'm just gonna hang out on an island and hopefully he doesn't find me.
Not gonna use the internet.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that everybody's dead already. She's just hanging out there because she learned to live without the internet. She doesn't want to deal with any of that shit anymore.
She's been rich. She's been hunted. I don't
she
want
basically, she basically was hunted because of the internet. So she's
But
like,
the last thing it shows is just 2. And it's like, that means he wants to kill her to get the whole fortune.
Oh, it showed 2 at the end? Oh, I didn't catch that. So there's another person left?
There's 2 left. Yeah, her and the guy that killed
Dave.
the dragon, yeah. Which, what the fuck? Why kill Dave? Like, what was the purpose of that? Like, that didn't make any sense. You're my main...
That's the end of his character. I mean, like I said, if you go back to the show, I called it, like when we were talking about the first couple issues, I said she's the main character. Because I remember you guys brought up being like, why do they keep having issues about her? Like, I don't really care about her. I go, she's the main character. That's why.
Isn't that Courtney girl? Is that what her?
Yeah, Courtney.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, she's been the main character the whole time. It's
I'm
all
going to say
revolved
her
around-
body changed because her body was way more sexy when it was naked in the first couple issues than this one.
I think
I guess your tits get saggy
but
by
I think a
3
lot.
years.
I think a lot of it for you though was her hair was different. Are you a fan of the
Yeah, I don't like the Dixie cut. That's weird.
Captain Marvel haircut?
I mean, if you go back and read the whole thing, I think the last fourth is always going to be the weakest. Like, it really starts strong, and it basically started strong, and then it ended okay.
But
I thought 16 and 17 were great, actually.
17 I liked. 16 I really didn't care for.
Because, like, when you get Larry Pharrell, whatever the fuck, his, like, origin story, basically, and, like, you think he's ruthless, but yeah, then, like, 18 was like, yeah, you just got to you got one issue, like, just do it.
Strongest issue of the whole series was when they told the backstory for, what's his name?
The dragon. I mean, Deacon.
Yeah, that issue was the best issue.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a 7.
I think I would give the first at least 4 issues of the main story really good because it was an interesting idea.
It's a nice concept.
Then and honestly, once we found out that we were jumping a year, it kind of lost me because there's a lot of information. I mean, there's a lot of people that could have died in that time period. That
I think if they would have did a jump in the year like in the middle, I would have been like, oh, that's okay. Yeah, I can see that happening. But just because it was like the last 4 issues, it's like, whoa.
and maybe that's the
let's
thing.
rush
Is that
it.
this last fourth of a book or fifth of the book, we just lost a year of time. That at least if there, like you said, had been a jump at issue 9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I understand that.
I think maybe that would have seemed like it was more planned. It seemed like it wasn't planned, and like he was just like, well, let's just go to the end.
Yeah. It's like they could have made that last way longer. Like, I hope it gets made into a TV show someday and they fix the shit out of this.
I think actually, if you go back and read early interviews, he said it was supposed to be like 50 issues.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
Since that we
way
talked about that,
longer.
it's supposed to be like 50 or a good chunk of issues.
Yeah, I remember him saying it was going to run a good bit.
Maybe when like the Vertigo editor got canned, maybe because like Clean Room and this were the only 2 that survived that whole editor change, the main editor change.
American Vampire's still around.
Yeah,
It's
was the
came out
last
for
issue
a
that
year,
came out.
What did you give it? 6, you said?
Give it a 6. The whole series, I give a 5.
Oh, really?
shit.
I was going to say the overall series, I give an 8. The beginning's really strong. I think
It is, but you gotta wrap it with a bow. You can't just like fucking dangle threads.
But I can't. Now, not that we're on this topic. You know what I give The Wake as an overall? An 8 because that first half was so fucking good.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
This I'm giving Unfollow a 7 because at least the first third of it was really.
I think
really
the best
strong.
part of Unfollow was the mystery, and then the last like 4 issues were like no more mystery. It's just a guy who wants to kill people, and that's what kind of lost a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just felt like selling out to me. Like, you promised this great grand story, and then I don't know if it was budgetary, editorial, or whatever. You decide, nah, my vision, let's just cut it down into thirds. You get the first third. That's it.
Did Dave have his own issue?
Yeah, he did.
He did?
with
Okay.
him and his sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because I thought
And those guys out front were like, we're gonna beat up your sister every day and stuff like that till you give us the money. And so now and then he was like, hey, how the Russians treat you like that when he shows
Right.
up. And they're like, oh yeah, your Russian friends came by. So he's like a big bad guy. I mean, not big bad, but he's like the king of that block. And
Okay.
he's
And then he
he's
got
like
shot.
the kingpin. Yeah, and then he gets shot. But he knew it. He was like, oh, whatever. He was okay with it.
Oh, I was just his sister's dead, so I guess it doesn't matter.
But also, I think he like did some shit that he didn't want to do. So he was like, well, this is what I get. He was that kind of guy who thought about fate.
The reason I brought it up is that I thought, well, maybe Dave was the main character because he didn't have his own, but he actually did have his own.
No, he had
So
his own. Courtney and Deacon had their own.
And so did Kara.
And Ross, no, not Ross. That's from Black Monday Words. Who's the guy with the mask?
Something Stein.
Yeah, I think he had his own issue, right?
Rubenstein, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So all the main character, all the 6 main people,
Right.
I do like though they don't explain that mask. Like
That
he
it
still
talks.
talks
It's
for
kinda
itself,
weird.
and they're like,
And even Courtney goes, it talks.
And I was like, that's cool. Like I don't want them to try to
Well,
figure.
there's
like,
always talking
find a way to
jaguars
explain
too, and same things.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
just
little
like that the
mythological
Jaguar
aspect.
ate him. That this whole time we were thinking, it was in his head.
It looks like a different jaguar though.
Hey,
And
he even asked, is that
but it
real?
was a different Jaguar. He goes, "Is that real?" Yeah, it's real. It's like, oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, glad it's over. Save $4 a month now.
Yeah.
I mean, $4 every couple of months.
It came out more consistently after the break.
Yeah,
because I think that year break, the quote unquote year passing,
They wanted to
was a
wrap it
couple
up.
months.
Well, next we got a challenge of sorts. Kamandi Challenge number 4, written by James Tinian IV, art by Carlos Deonda. You know what? I can't deny. I like this series, but I get less excited for it every issue that comes out.
Really? I was going to say the opposite. 3
Really?
and 4 were actually my favorite.
Jimmy Paul
This one
and
actually,
Amanda Connor.
Yeah, I really like that issue a lot.
Really? I like this one
and
pretty
this
good,
one,
but
like the paneling, the art, I like the most in this one. The story, I think I like the most in 3.
yeah.
We didn't have.
I think 3 has been my favorite.
I think I'm
three a
getting
lot.
I'm getting over animalized. Like I know that's Kamandi's world, but like there's a part of me that's just like
I was gonna say that's all. That's all it is.
Well, I know, but now it's to the point where they're like forcing the animals to be in there.
I just-
not like
I
it's
almost-
not, like,
that's all,
fluent
that's
part
all
of the
that's left.
story.
He's the last boy on Earth.
No, I get that, but I mean, like there's animals that like don't serve the plot in any way. They're just in there for the sake of cameos.
No, it makes
There's
sense
a
though.
couple, yeah.
It's in his location where he's at. So the last one was
San Diego.
So you don't have to explain it to me. I get it. I get the concept of it.
issue 1's a tiger.
It's just
Issue 2 was
Gorillas.
gorillas. Issue 3 was the pirates of shit and bats. And then this one was jaguars.
Oh well, that ends with kangaroo.
Yeah. And
Now
then
they're on
the
the
next
show,
one we're
right?
going to be in Australia.
I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying like it's a lot of escape and go like every issue, and I get that's the whole point.
But
of
that's
it.
what's been bugging me is that I don't mind all the animals. I was going to complain about them, but actually I like that. But I don't like the fact, and I get the point is that
It's a challenge.
everyone's
Yeah.
is dropping off. But it kind of bugs me. I wish we were staying somewhere for just a little bit longer.
But I think
like they could change the plot device a little bit to be
Yeah.
like, oh, something
Change the
huge
plot, but let the
happens
kangaroo
that's
rats still
not
be there.
necessarily like, oh, I gotta save people.
I don't think
from a
that's possible
bomb.
though, because they work on their own issue. Like all they get
They get the ending
is
of
the
theirs.
ending, so they're working off of that. And they probably before they even get that, they go, okay, here's a story we want to tell, and all they do is try to attach their cliffhanger to the beginning of their story. And I feel like that's how it is every issue. They're trying to justify why we're in this new place now.
So far, the only cliffhanger that I've been like, oh wow, that's a big scary cliffhanger was the nuke. Everything else has
Yeah.
been like, oh okay. I'm
Really,
not.
you didn't like the end of 3? 3 to 4, Big Jack.
3 to 4 would be a close second for me. I think.
I like that one a lot. I like how it actually gets resolved that it turns out to be a robot. I like that a lot, actually.
Did you read the letter? What
Yeah.
hit the original plan that he was going to ride the jet right off his chest? That would be
And,
fucking cool.
set him on fire
Burn
so
him,
that
yeah.
I think that would have made more sense because I don't know how it got decapitated
Right.
when the jaguar's holding it in front of him.
Then they went for
it was a necklace.
Oh, it was on his
Yeah,
neck.
it was
Okay,
attached to his
okay,
neck,
never
yeah.
mind. That makes more sense.
and then James Tinian went for the old mecha giant tiger gag. So
I liked. It bugged me that Kamandi didn't realize it because right when he stabbed the giant jaguar, I already figured out it's a robot. Is this blood? That's not blood. Like, yeah, it's fucking black, you dipshit.
He doesn't know like what's in this planet.
How old is he? 12?
I don't know.
He's the boy still. He's just the boy.
I give it a 7. I mean, I still like
it an
this
8.
story, but it's just I want to. I've read Kamandi stories before, and this is a Kamandi story, but like I want to see more from it.
Well, you're not going to get like a.
It's not a full
arc
series.
at all.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
It's all just going to be like these fun little.
Right, the fun little things.
I understand what you
but-
mean though. Like
You're
it's
gonna
all,
run out of
It's all the
animals?
same
I
thing.
mean-
Like they get captured and he gets loose.
Right. Like I want there to be like how in a TV show it's small arcs with an overarching arc. Do that with this.
I think that's what I like about 3 though. Is like he get captured, but then they like meet some bats and they help them escape, and so it's more than just them escaping. And he gets a new friend,
Right.
which is the fucking weirdest part of this whole thing.
Oh, see, I like
They
her
eat them.
though. I like that
do
he's finally
like
here
her,
as a
but
friend.
I thought it freaked me out a lot when they were using them to eat them. And like it's okay, we grow back. It hurts a lot, but we grow back slowly.
That's creepy. Yeah,
And I was
creepy.
like, oh, that's fucking creepy.
Kind of remind me of Deadpool cutting off his skin to feed Archangel. You know, the thing I was noticing is some of these books remind me of movies
Yeah.
The first one kind of reminded me of Star Wars, where he fights the giant gorilla, where it's kind of like the Rancor,
Yeah.
and he beats him. I forgot what the second one was. The Tiger People. That didn't really remind me of anything.
Gorilla was the second one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Tigers.
They
was
jump
the
out of
first
the
one.
bullet, the missile.
Nuke. Okay, but then the third one reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean with the tortoise being a pirate, and
Yeah.
this one reminded me of, or at the end of this one,
Mad Max.
reminded me of Mad Max, and this issue reminded me of Road to El Dorado, where they had that giant jaguar
Right.
Oh yeah.
robot tech thing.
Yeah. Hey, did you read the last page thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you read the one by Neil Adams?
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's a little off his rocker.
Yeah. He's
I read that and I was
there.
like, that's not a letter from a sane man. 100%.
I think it's time to wrap it up for him. I mean,
Because he the letters explain like how their ending would be, and he doesn't even talk about that in that page. He talked at the end. He was like, and here's how I ended it. It's like, no shit. You're supposed to talk about like how you get out of it.
well, I read that Batman Odyssey story, and
Yeah.
it's the most fucked up story ever. But by the end, you're like, that was actually really good. But like, man, that guy, he's all over the place.
Didn't he write something else too recently?
He did Superman and the Coming of the Superman.
That's right.
And
That's
he's
what it
like,
was.
this is my last chance to do my big old Superman story. And it was a big clusterfuck.
Was that the 5-issue or 6-issue mini
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
And it was like fine, but like basically they're on Dinosaur Island the whole time, and like, I mean, whatever. But
What did you give it? 7?
I'm
seven.
gonna give it a 7.
Black Monday Murders, written by Jonathan Hickman, art by Tom Coker. We get, did I say Black Monday Murders number 5? 5th issue. It's not that much, actually that much shorter. It's 40 some pages.
10 pages shorter.
Yeah, it's like 10 pages shorter. So it's
$1
about
off.
That's fine. That's fine. It did seem like it was a little shorter than the rest of them. Actually, you know what? There's a lot more prose pages because there's a lot of documents in this one compared to the other issues. So actually, it took me about probably the same amount of time to read as the other ones.
Issue 3 is still my favorite.
Yeah. And it's still, you can tell it's still reeling into this.
Yep.
Like
I mean,
how much
they're still
impact.
talking about the stuff that had happened, but I found this one to be kind of just a meh.
Oh, really? I like this one a lot.
I really liked it. I'm going to like.
This one gave us
I'm
a
gonna
lot
throw
of
out a
information
number, but
about Daniel.
yeah, like the Rothschild. Like I'm learning more about that universe now, like the Stone Chair, the Ascendant Chair, like those fixations
Yeah.
in their organization. Like you don't know everything, but you know you're starting to get the foundation.
Speaking of Daniel, in issue 4, when they're at his funeral and they zoom in on Victor's smiling face, that's fucking freaky.
Yeah.
That is. Victor scares the shit out of me. Like
He does.
if I walked into that guy somewhere, I'd be like,
And then in this issue, he shows up at the meeting and she's like, what the fuck's he doing here for? And he goes, security wants to walk him out. And he whispers something to his ear. He goes, tonight you're going to shoot yourself in the head. Not because you're weak-minded, because
person.
you've been, your usefulness has been used up.
yeah.
But then he fights Stuart Thomas.
Well, I think
So-
did
'Cause I
Thomas
think
fight?
Thomas is stronger than he is.
Oh, I say, did
he
Thomas
appears
actually fight through it, or was it that the phone call brought him out of it?
Both, I think.
Okay, and so I
he
guess
still would have to fight through
I
it
believe
at
he
the
still has to overcome it, but
Do you think, did we get a clear, we haven't got a clear answer yet in who actually killed Daniel,
no.
but Victor was involved. I think Victor,
No, Victor said that he killed him.
well,
He claims he killed him.
he killed him, but I think he somehow made Thomas kill him because in the report they talk about like, I think it even says in there that Thomas was recommended by somebody else that's part of Victor's group. And he was like weak-minded, but he's like, he'd do good. I'll replace him with my normal security if he does good enough. And eventually he becomes like his right-hand man. I think all of that's just showing you like how he became part of his group as part of like a thing they were planning to kill him.
Right.
So, but also in the last issue, we got information on how, what's her name? Gia? No,
Rhea.
got basically kicked out of the group originally. And then now she's taking back power and they really don't like her that much. And so but she has this plan in place and she's helping her and Abby are getting power back.
The way Tom Coker draws these people, like they look fucking conniving. Like when I see Victor, I get scared. When I see her, I'm like, nah, don't get pissed off. I
She's
get
hot.
turned on. Like, she's hot. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, but she's so seductive and like how she speaks. I'm just like, shit.
Even
how
though I
could you
can't, I don't
stand
know
up?
what she's saying.
Does Abby,
Are you talking about Rhea or are you talking about Abby?
Rhea.
Oh, I was thinking I like Abby, the white chick.
does she like teleport? There's a part where she like came out of the wall
I'm not
or
sure.
the shadows.
Because I'm not sure, because she's got the same power that Victor has. And I thought that Abby and all her other, I don't know what she is, but I thought they had their own kind of like security. But I'm not sure if I trust Abby and Rhea. I know Rhea and Abby are sleeping.
I don't think
together.
we're that far in that you can start defining all the rules.
It almost seems like each family has their own little, like Abby. I forget what they call them. Yeah, it's kind of like Lazarus. But
that's when I read this book. That's what it feels like.
What did they called it something in here? I forgot what it was called. But there was that page where they found out that was it this issue or last issue where she was eating her grandfather.
The last issue.
And by the way, what a piece of shit grandfather. Which is like, for your birthday, what do you want? He's like, I want to know what happened to my parents. He's like, well, I killed your dad and drank his blood, and your mom, I basically, sold her off. And she's like, whoa, fuck. And she tells Daniel, hey, make sure we never hurt each other. And then eventually he kicks her out of the group. So
he's a fucker.
You know what? Like, we knew this was coming. Like we said at the beginning, like $3.99 for 40 pages. God, I would have loved this to be another 50, 60-page book.
You know what?
I mean, eventually he's not going to be able to sustain it. I mean, it's a lot to write for if you wanted to keep it on time.
Yeah, but if you think about it, he dropped Frontier. Frontier's not coming out anytime soon that I know of.
November. It says in the back of this issue.
Knock on wood.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's like
I saw the.
Oh, not this one. Number 4.
Oh. Because writers always promise the truth.
Well, he's writing and drawing that one, so he's going to take a little more time. I give this one a 9.
I give it a 9 also. I mean, I'm glad that it's back. I hope I might point out it's not like another 3 months like at the next issue.
It's definitely a very slow burn.
Yeah.
Like each issue is not going to be like, here's like a lot of, like it's a very trickling kind of information. And then in each issue, you can see him setting up pieces. And that's how Hickman works. It's like he sets up pieces, and then eventually down the line we get an issue where it's like, it all comes together and it's worth all those 8 issues before it.
I like this cover.
Yeah.
A lot.
I like that it's like, I'm sad when I get a new issue, but I'm also excited because like the closer we get to 12, I'm like, God, I don't want this to ever end.
But now I'm wondering, is it actually going to be 12? If he's cutting down pages, it's almost going to be like a Baker's Dozen 13.
Maybe it won't define that anymore. I don't know. You'll have to tell us later, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw that actually like the next 4 are all the same page length as this one. They're all $3.99.
Maybe it's a choice by the arc.
As I was going to say, maybe this arc is shorter and then the next one's going to be bigger again.
So
who knows?
It's good. I mean, I think I'd agree. I know I'm a meh for it, but to me, it just wasn't a climactic
What'd you give
thing.
it?
I'm going to give it a 9.
Tom Cooker's art, though, is like really so good.
That guy should be hanging out with Sean Phillips and all those guys, like taking care of business in the crime alley, crime section of comics.
Makes me want to find other things that Coker does.
Right. I don't know what else he does.
He did that Immortal Iron Fist, and not the the 5. Oh, the one that you and I are talking about, 5 Ronin. Okay. Oh, me.
Snicked.
Sorry, it's me. So we got Weapon X number 2, written by Greg Pak, art by Greg Land, and colors by Frank Diarmata. I don't know I don't know if I like this one or not.
Really?
I don't like how quippy they made Wolverine.
No, that's who Wolverine is, though.
Quippy?
Not quippy, but he's just like, he fucking don't give a shit. But Old Man Logan, like, that's the only thing about the Old Man Logan series that I haven't been liking is that Wolverine, I mean, I guess he's been through a lot. But like this Logan, he's just having fun. He's having fun being what he was created to be.
Killing robots?
Using all those robots that are trying to murder him and everybody like him. Yeah.
You
didn't tell me you didn't get scared in that first issue when like those people turned into fucking synthetic adamantium robots?
No.
What?
I actually got more freaked out by the horses turning into them this time.
Yeah, see? But like the only thing I guess I don't know enough about Warpath to care about him.
They didn't deal enough with Warpath.
I'm sure they're not done.
He's fighting robot horses.
Yeah.
Oh, look how fast he is, and he's so strong, and he can fly. Just imagine the girl there is probably just rubbing one out while she's sitting there.
It was a little weird that he was so focused on the horses, like when the helicopters were coming.
Because he wanted,
and they spent like 3 pages on it. And I get that it was to build to them turning into fucking robots, but I was like,
yeah.
At first, I was like, okay, the horses are running away. In every movie, have you ever seen the camera stay on the horse that runs away because of like a storm or like a giant thing coming?
Well, no, helicopter's chasing him.
Right.
But I want to know where he kept those knives.
The
whole time it's just, look at his big head.
So Warpath doesn't have any adamantium. He's just super strong and
healing factor.
Okay.
I don't think his knives are made of adamantium.
Oh. So he's the least useful on the Weapon X.
Sounds like his healing factor is better than.
Oh, everybody's. I guess that's what like makes him.
That was what made him so special. Is his healing factor is better than even Wolverine's.
Well, they have him now. What the actual Weapon X is the facility. Like,
what I'm finding interesting is that when we read X-Men Prime, they made it seem like these guys are going to be the killers, and maybe they are eventually going to be the killers of these other teams.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I mean, over time, I think maybe once they get all together, they're gonna.
And maybe it's not.
I think they're all gonna get captured.
It's not Weapon X, the actual people. It's the synthetics they're making to hunt them. Right?
Yeah, like I feel like they'll be captured. I feel like they'll all be captured. I think like there's going to be another, like the end of this arc is going to be Logan and Sabretooth basically gunning for their fucking lives, and they lose. And then now, you're right. They're going to make synthetics of those 6
to hunt
send them
down
out,
other teams.
send them out into the world,
being hired by the woman we meet in Gold.
Exactly.
So I mean, I'm interested. It's actually,
basically superior Weapon X.
That makes me more excited that they're going to be gutting people.
Right.
Like this one, I mean, you're right. I do like them fighting these robos.
Right.
But the Sabretooth Wolverine the Wolverine being quippy bugged me. And I realized he's supposed to be maybe a little lighthearted as an old man.
Right.
Instead of the diehard.
But like he already had a whole life with Victor Creed, so he already knows what he's like. He's like, "Hey douchebag, I know you're not going to listen to me, but you better, else you're going to get killed."
I like that Sabretooth called Wolverine Runt.
Right.
I always like that.
But I give this one an 8. First issue 9. This one's an 8.
Oh, by far. Issue 1 was awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun.
This was one of those. Maybe a part is that as much as I like Wolverine and Sabretooth, I know nothing about Warpath that I wanted. I still wanted Deathstrike to be in it, and I guess she's captured.
Yeah. That's the whole plan. They're going to get them all, and then we're going to get some development. So. But from one X to another, we're going to X-Men Gold #2, written by Mark Guggenheim, art by Ardian Sif, colors by Frank Martin. It's kind of weird, like hearing all the drama after issue 1 came out, seeing him draw this book, the artist Sif.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't avoid it. It's there the whole time. But there's nothing like. I think if there wasn't, you could tell like a lot of the shirts and everything in the entire comic.
Well, you better believe it was delayed a week so that they could look it over again to make sure that's in it.
Oh, it's all blank. Like all the sweatshirts and everything are blank now.
So maybe the one thing in issue 1, I never noticed anything.
I didn't either.
Well, I mean, it was all subliminal. It's nothing that you would know unless you knew what he was saying.
I like this story. It's building on that cliffhanger of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and like. There's more weight in it, as in, like, there's been a couple mutants that are now evil that are on this team, like that Fire Girl. Yeah,
Magma. Yeah, from Generation X. No, New Mutants. You know what? Something I don't like about this is that it feels like it's just jumping from plot to plot. It's like, let's go. Let's tell this story rather than settling down and telling, like, quieter moments with the characters. You know, it seems like it's really quick to be like, let's go.
It's too big all the time.
Yeah, it seems way too big, too fast.
Yeah.
Especially when you're introducing a new team. I think they need to slow down and just tell these. Because actually, like, the best scene in this whole issue for me is when, by the way, worst line in a book in a long time, when Kitty's like, I'm hacking the dark web. And I was like, oh, fuck.
I don't even remember.
What do you mean hacking?
I don't remember that. The worst line for me was the telekinetic Super Bowl special or whatever. I
thought that was good.
That bugged the shit out of me.
Why?
It's just having fun.
By the way,
how the hell do you yell when you're being thrown through the air? I realize you're made of metal, so you don't have the same physics as your face getting thrown around. That annoyed the shit out of me.
Hey, if you're going to start finding logic in the X-Men, we're going to be here all night.
I'm fine with ridiculousness, but it just seemed to me that was too much. It was too big.
Who's going to throw him?
If you want to go logic, we have to think of within the world. Like, why? I don't understand why she's like, get Wolverine out of here. You could fucking heal.
Not as fast. He's old.
Well, then have Storm show up and spray some water on him.
That's what she did.
No, he didn't. He was out of there. He got bamfed out of there by Nightcrawler.
Well, yeah, to get away to heal. But, like, I know she showed up after, which I thought you're right. It would make sense.
I assume Nightcrawler got...
She was putting out the flames of that he spread by doing that to Logan.
I thought that Mesmero hijacked Nightcrawler and brought him to him.
No, she's like, get him out of here.
Yeah, I know, but I thought...
No, Mesmero was there the whole time.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But he got jacked and brought to Mesmero instead.
Place. No, I think he just happened to show up at the same place.
Oh, that's convenient.
Well, he went by the water, and I guess he was by the water.
And I like that Mesmero, how good do you think Wolverine's like counter blocking telekinetic attacks would have to be, or telepathic attacks? Because Mesmero's trying to hijack his brain to find out what they know and to do stuff to him. And
he's got an adamantium skull.
Well, not that well. What's his name? Mysterio made him kill all his X-Men.
So
at the
my question
prime
is,
of his career. Before
how does
he went
Mesmero
into
not
exile.
know that Wolverine is gonna break the chair?
Yeah, that part I was.
And then how did he get behind him to strangle him?
Yeah, well,
I know.
Well,
don't
yeah,
ask questions.
It
but
skipped
No,
a
no, no,
panel because that's just assuming that he ran.
I didn't like that part either. I was just like,
at first I thought Wolverine broke his neck and he was looking behind
that's
him.
what I mean.
Oh,
Like,
that's
he had the
fine.
wherewithal to put him in adamantium chains, but then he put him in a wooden chair. It was just like
So it's just one of those. I mean, things that
making villains dumb for the sake of being dumb, so you
Yeah.
can get out of it. That's what I thought too. I think he was a little shaky. I think, and I think that's what happens when you just forward with the plot rather than taking some time to tell character
Hey
moments.
guys, this is Mark Guggenheim. He wrote season 3 and 4 of Arrow. Which
That's
was
what I
shit,
mean. It's
so.
just like, and I mean, like if you think about those, like the thing that was bad about those seasons is that they didn't take time to like let the characters breathe and live in the world.
it's all
It was just like
action, nothing else.
boom, let's plot.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, the best part was Peter and Kitty like taking a moment to like just talk. And I thought that was the best part. But then again, it's like, hey, let's get to the next plot point. Wolverine calls them and was like, hey, I'm out of this thing. Let's come find me.
I know you guys are going to judge me. How can Wolverine be here and in Weapon X?
They take
No.
place different.
The reason,
I know what you mean. 'cause
But the
he's
reason I bring it up is
Right.
that
he's captured.
Wolverine's going to be gutting people.
But
He's going
now,
to hunt
think
down.
about this. Does this book take place after Weapon X, after they have potentially captured him, or before?
My assumption is that Gold has to take place before Weapon X.
Yeah, probably.
There used to be, and
Don't worry about it.
There used to be somebody in Marvel that would keep
Secret
track of all
War
that
Bubble.
stuff and make sense. But I
They
don't
don't
think they care anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think they care anymore.
I know
there
they
used to be
don't,
somebody
but
that would
it's
be no, but you're right though. There
You're
used
going to tie
be-
these books together eventually, and there's going to be something
but it's
wrong.
like the same way they do with Batman. They basically will put a little editor's note and say, "You better read this story and find out how."
But at least when you think of the Batman, he's the motherfucking Batman.
Let me blow your mind some more though.
Motherfucking Wolverine doesn't sound as good.
Let me blow your mind some more. Old Man Logan has his own book. When does that take place? Isn't he in another team book too? He's in one of these. books?
He was in the Extraordinary.
Right now he's actually
Astonishing
in
X-Men.
He's in his own subconscious.
Dude, I can't wait for the Astonishing
that
X-Men.
would be a
looks
good
good.
one.
Just for the fact that it's not actually Deadpool or Cable. It's Bishop, and I like Bishop. And Mystique is in it.
I know who Bishop is.
This was okay for me. 7. It just like I feel like it's like slow down a second. Like
yeah.
I think I'm going to give this one a 6. This actually was weaker than 1 for me.
I'll keep it at a 7. But guys, I wish we were talking about X-Men Blue because did you read issue 1 of that?
no, I didn't.
We didn't get it.
You didn't get it? Did you not get it?
No.
None of us did.
You guys.
Because I don't like I like the
I
idea
do
of
like
the
that team. It's just like
But I think the concept that Bendis tried to do in
Should I
the
go back
first
and get it?
place, I would go back and get it.
Okay.
Like I think Cullen Bunn, I know it's Cullen Bunn.
I like
Whatever.
Cullen Bunn. He doesn't like Cullen Bunn.
Yeah,
Alex,
but I enjoyed it. And like when you get to the end, there's so many things that get teased that you're like, holy
to
fuck.
be fair to Cullen Bunn though, Alex doesn't like him because he got all those Deadpool miniseries. Maybe it was just those miniseries he didn't like.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a good possibility. And same with I don't like Sam Humphries, but you guys tell me only good things about Green Lanterns.
Oh, that book's
That
so good.
I think it's just one of what book was it that we were getting that I hated?
By Sam?
Yeah. I know it was Uncanny
Planet Hulk?
X-Force was one I had gotten. Was it
Planet Hulk was
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
That was really
and also
bad.
he was writing before that. He was writing
Some vampire book.
His Weirwood book was good.
That was what I
I
heard.
read that. It was good.
Werewolf book.
But
Weird
I
World.
say if there was a book, you should go back and get the first 2 issues. Do it now before you can't get any more X-Men Blue. I think that's the one that's going to be the
Okay,
beat
I
to be
will. I will
watched.
try X-Men Blue 1 and 2. I will even read them.
You know
for
when you
next
can get
week.
them. Oh, okay. You order it for next week. I was thinking you get a free comic book day.
Well,
50%
I
off.
was going to say I'll read them and I'll even bring it up next week, and I'll either go yay or nay to Garrett saying it's so good.
I was interested
Because
in that
my
a lot,
only
actually.
problem with it is that I like the characters in that book.
Just not the concept of them being from the past.
and they're still bitching about it. Okay, you've been here for 3 years now. Get the fuck over it.
I will tell you,
I want to
There's
take
no
my
bitching
raft
about it.
size and stab you.
I tell you, when you read the story, that's not anything that anyone gives a shit about.
Only thing good about
Oh, really?
that
They don't
book
talk
would
about
be
it?
They don't talk
Magneto.
about it.
Okay, I'm good then. That's something
Then I'll
I
get
didn't
it.
get
If
it.
they're not
I'll
talking
tell you
about
that much. They don't talk about being out of the past.
I know what he means. It's like, quit. I understand you're out of time. You're not in your own place, but make it your own and do something with it.
all new X-Men, that's all they talked about when they got brought over. Uncanny X-Men, when they went to work for Magneto, that's all they talked about. In Battle of the Atom, that's all they fucking talked about.
This one literally seems like they just came back from the past. They're going to work as a team. They don't anything before that. Who gives a shit? Except for the fact that Scott Summers, as a kid, has to deal with everyone's thinking that Scott Summers, the adult who was a giant murderer, is him.
And I still like Cyclops. That's still probably one of my favorite X-Men.
I like Cyclops a lot too. He's my favorite.
Right.
But I mean, original Cyclops,
Obviously, Wolverine's my favorite.
the one that's dead.
Right.
The
what I
one
was gonna
that's
say
frozen in the metal.
for X-Men Gold, what I was going to say is, and you brought a good thing you brought up Arrow. It's like it really does feel like it's going down that path. It's like I don't. I'm not going to care about this plot or story if you don't let me. Especially if you're saying that like Rachel Gray, like she wants to be this new hero. She has a new code name. She's like changing herself, but you haven't sat down and told me why. Like like what's her deal? Like she's just there.
Whenever I see something that Mark Guggenheim's on, instantly my nervousness goes way up. My excitement goes down. And I'm glad there's editors over these books.
You know what's
because of that.
bad though? Speaking of the controversy of issue 1, this art is really good, and it's like now. I mean, he's gonna be jumping off the book. And
The guy I saw, the replacement artist, he's actually pretty good too.
I know,
looked
but
up
we're
his
gonna have to
art.
deal with. There's 2 issues for. He's this one. The same artist is gonna be on for number 3 because they couldn't get somebody new. 4 is gonna be a new artist, and 5 is gonna be a different artist than that. And then they're gonna find somebody permanently for 6 going forward. So we're gonna have a couple issues where it's gonna be jumping.
I know, but like think about it. A guy ended his career.
No, I understand.
doing
I understand the reason. I'm not gonna blame them for
Right.
it, but still, it's like. I wish he didn't do that because I really
You're
like
right.
his art.
It's
He was a good
just
artist.
showing- yeah, he is a good artist. So
That's the books we had this week. Flash 21, which is the button part 2. Get on that train. Unfollow 18, the end of Unfollow. Kamandi Challenge number 4. The Black Monday Merge number 5. Weapon X number 2. And X-Men Gold number 2.
Hey, did you see that Weapon X was actually supposed to come out next week?
yeah,
When you looked in the back,
they already
of Gold?
fucked up the order because when X-Men Gold, it was supposed to be an X-Men book every week. It was supposed to be Gold, Blue, X, and Weapon X, and they screwed up that order already. So when you look at the back, it's all fucked up already. So I wish they just wouldn't put that in there. I get their idea. They're calling back to the 90s and the early 2000s, being like, oh, remember when we used to do those things where it would preview all the next X-Men books coming out? And it would work if Marvel ever kept to a schedule, but they never do.
What I do like about X-Men Gold, though, is no more talk about Inhumans or any of that stuff. They're out of there.
They did in issue 1, but
Yeah, so
you're
they
right. This was the first issue, no Inhuman talk.
Did they talk about it in issue 1? I know they talked about it in Prime.
They just basically said, hey,
After the war,
that thing we had
Inhumans
before,
and
we're done with
right.
that.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I think they just had to bring it up to be like, that's right. We
I'm
put that
so
to bed.
glad.
We're done with that.
They have to be, because if that's just
That's
you
what I
gotta
mean.
keep them
You have to-
separate.
I was going to say, the X-Men used to be their own thing. Like, that's their own kind of,
Right.
even though in their Marvel universe and they can show up in other books, they used to have a self-contained, like, the X-Men books were like their own thing.
Right.
And so, like, I like that it's going back to that.
Right.
I think the one thing that bugged me about Gold was the what's her name? Kitty's talking to Peter, and she goes, "Oh, we're gonna do something, be heroes. Don't be heroes, just be X-Men." I get that you don't want to do the bad stuff, but sometimes you can't be a hero. Sometimes you just have to do good to be good. No one's gonna like you.
I am loving
We've seen that.
Yeah. I am loving this train though of new X-Men material. Like I like that it feels like it's its own contained universe, even though they brought like Captain America into the beginning of Gold of this issue.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was in.
Yeah. And
I
it's
think, like,
like
2 seconds.
That's fine. But like as long as it's not like forced, like if it was like a Secret Empire tie-in or anything.
Yeah,
But I
feared that for a second. I was
Right.
like, oh, it's going to be something about Hydra.
So I like them being. We know they're in a bigger world. It's like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Yes, they are in the Marvel universe, but you barely see or hear anything else. I mean, it ties
separate
in.
but connected universe.
Right,
That was
exactly.
Marvel's big thing in the past, and I think they've kind of got away from that. So it's nice to have something that's separate but connected still. Rainbow, Comics and Cards, Looking for comic books, collectibles, board games, or any sports memorabilia or sports cards? The only place you need to shop in Sioux Falls or Lincoln, Nebraska. Visit their Facebook page, facebook.com/Rainbow Comics and Cards, or their Lincoln location at Rainbow Comics and Cards, Lincoln. Or find them online anytime at rainbowcomicsandcards.com. That has been the reviews for this week. We're going to move on to our next segment of the show, Comic Book Association. This is, if you remember back to the early episodes, this is...
what was the last episode we did this?
I have to go back and look. It's probably not since like before episode 20. I bring up a topic or a name or an artist's name, something. We talk about it for a few moments and we see what we think about it. We associate with the term.
Do moments you mean seconds?
No, it was.
Oh, I can't remember if it was time
before.
Or
it was
anything.
it was like before we'd take like a 2
Your first
minutes.
thought could be a word, could be a sentence.
Yeah, we do a word and then we talk about it.
Okay.
The first thing we can talk about, actually, we talked about a little bit, but I'd like to go into it more, is the button. What do you think?
Issue 1, great. Issue 2, I'm okay with it.
Loving it. Need some more Watchmen. I know we're almost halfway. Like we have 1 year left. Need me some Watchmen. Probably going to show up soon. Gimme.
I think you won't see Watchmen until issue 4 cliffhanger.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Because their big thing is, and that's the thing about this whole thing is like this is basically another segment of this story that started in the DC universe, DC Rebirth universe book, and I like that they're restrained about it. They're not like
they're not throwing it. Yeah,
it's
like not all at one time.
Little bit. So we get that event. You're actually going to really want to read it, and you're putting together all these clues to lead to that. I don't really need any answers.
When I like that in Superman and Action Comics when they did was it Superman Reborn?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they had their own little tie into Watchmen related things.
Right.
Then this is
That's
Flash
what I mean.
and Batman doing their own little thing.
If you're reading this whole DC Rebirth thing, there's certain books
Easter
where
eggs
they
in each
show
one.
little things like Flash and like you said, Superman.
Like Titans, there's some of that too. I mean, it's very extensive and like you're just hoping that nobody fucks it up. Because I hope, like, I don't know who knows. It's probably only Jeff Johns, Dan DiDio, and
Jeff
Jim
has
Lee.
it. I mean, going back to an interview I heard with Greg Rucka from Word Balloon Podcast, is that he was saying that Jeff went to him and was like, "Hey, you can run. We want you to come on Wonder Woman for 2 years, I think it was, or 24 issues." And while you're on it, we're doing this thing that's going to take 2 years to pay off. If you want to put it in your book, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But so I think Jeff like has a thing planned out, and there's like certain plot points, and they go in and they go, "Hey, I'm going to put that in my book. That works in my book." And that works in my book. So they take things. I don't think they're actually like, I don't think any of these writers are coming up with these points. They just go, "Hey, that would work great with this thing." And that's actually, since this DC Rebirth thing is like, and that's actually a strong point of this button thing, is that it really feels like it's planned. Yeah. All this feels like it's planned. It's like they sat down and were like, "Here's the Watchmen story from beginning, from this issue I'm going to write," Jeff said, until like we get to that event. Here's all what's going to happen. There's nothing in here feels like it's like, "Hey, how about we do this thing like randomly?" It just feels like feels so strongly connected to that DC Rebirth special that it feels like they took the time and sat down and wrote the whole thing out.
Well, we know for a fact that Jeff Johns is writing the Watchmen title whenever it comes out. I don't know if it's an event series or an ongoing or whatnot, because he tweeted it like last October. There was a tweet with Dr. Manhattan, and he's like, "Feels good to be back to writing." That's all he put on Twitter. Yeah. And like, I'm so excited. I mean, Jeff Johns, like, you know, he's doing up the movie things and whatnot, but it's like, I can't wait for him to come back. Do some more.
So that's been great, but point number 2. It's coming up soon. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What do we think about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
Optimistic, but worried that the jokes are going to ruin it.
Hopeful, and I've heard good things. I've heard it's epic.
Yeah, I've read some reviews.
I haven't read reviews. I just heard that it's epic.
I think here's my take on it. Expectations. I think I have to remove any expectations when I go in that movie.
It's going to be shit. That's what I need to tell myself.
Because we've been talking about on this podcast for a while that, like you just said, too many jokes and stuff like that. I think if it's going to be jokey, I think I just need to let it be that, so I can enjoy it for that part of it. Not go into it expecting it's going to be some sort of big entry into the Marvel universe,
right?
Like something that's going to answer all these Thanos questions. And actually, so you know, on Rotten Tomatoes, you can read like a line from people's reviews. I usually don't like doing that, but I wanted to see if at least somebody said whether or not they liked it better than the first one. And the first thing I saw, and then maybe stopped reading reviews, was that somebody said, what did somebody say? Was it an hour or 45 minutes? Well, anyways, they said the first 45 minutes is mostly a comedy until it gets to the plot. So it feels like the first beginning of that movie is just going to be, like you said, jokes.
I heard the middle is kind of like serialized TV, like that. It's like there's so many subplots.
Yeah,
but I don't want to get too much specific about like what I read. But I mean, it wasn't spoilers. It was just general plot, like not. It was just general points about the movie itself. And I think like all I've seen is that it's another part of the winning streak.
That's the thing too, is like Guardians in the comics before the movies weren't any kind of a comedic thing. It was really like a space war book, and they turned it into this. So I think if I'm going to go into this movie, I have to remember that and be like, well, that's their comedy. It's Marvel's comedy movie. So
would you see that all new Guardians is coming out this next Wednesday? The new Guardians book series, and it's basically the movie, like movie
from
cast.
Jerry Dugan.
Yeah, movie cast. They got the Guardians of the Galaxy is the same as the movie now. It's like
I thought about getting it, and I think that's one of those books I just need to choose not to get.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I feel like I saw they're on fucking like Doritos and stuff.
Yeah,
but I feel like it's too much exposure. Like if I try to like get that book and like try to get into it too much, or try to see stuff about like even the trailers for this movie, I only watched the first one. That's it.
I watched the first two because you're right. There's so many TV spots. I'm like, jeez.
So it's like I feel like I need to like just go and see it. That's it.
I got the Rocket Raccoon book, that Grounded one, and the only reason I actually got it was for the fact that I had Kraven the Hunter in it. If it didn't, I would have given two shits. I like Rocket.
Oh, you got them all? 5 issues?
Yeah,
it's done.
And which is good. I mean, I'm glad that it's done. I had 3 books that ended this week. So
I saw Matthew Rosenberg on Twitter was saying, "Go save a raccoon." This he had like gifs of raccoons like in a river running away. He's like, "Save a raccoon, go get number 5." That's pretty funny. Speaking of movies, our third topic here, Wonder Woman movie. What do you think? Where are we at with this?
Did you see the TV spot that got released today?
No, actually, I brought this up because I wanted to talk about where's the advertisement. Batman vs Superman was like everywhere.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman's
going to be on a NASCAR car. I saw that today too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
but like even online ads,
that doesn't seem like
I haven't seen anything. Like I haven't
it's
seen
probably good because they're probably showing the whole movie during those trailers. So
like
I
watch
wonder
a
if
lot
they're
of,
like keeping it at bay when it's like within a month, and then they're gonna like unleash the hellhounds because like when like during especially everyone's pumped for Guardians of the Galaxy, like no one's gonna get two shit, so it's just wasted money maybe.
Yeah, but I think like Batman vs Superman, they like was heavily advertised, and I don't really think like it needed to be. People know Batman vs Superman, you know what it's about. But I think Wonder Woman, people are like don't know as much about. And I think you need to get the word out there because even though like I've said before, like even though we like it comes out and we see it over and over again, be like here's trailer 1, 2, 3, like we're aware of all that stuff. You know, Joe Schmo is not. He's probably sitting at home, and be like, "What's this Wonder Woman thing?"
Oh, I'm pretty close to being Joe Schmo. I don't watch anything other than the trailers when we see the movies, or until you guys make me watch the trailer.
But you're aware it's coming out.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like the guy who doesn't know it's coming out, you need to put a bunch of stuff out there so he sees one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it. I know my wife wants to see it, but I'm going into it with low expectations. I'm going with the fact that she's hot.
Yeah.
But I mean that's true. That's the only thing I'm going for is she's hot, and I like this character.
But this is like somebody that has been like in so many fights, and if they get punched one more time, they're gonna die. That's what Wonder Woman feels like. Like I'm going into it, and it's like basically you get one more roundhouse punch to the face, it's done.
Yeah, I know. You can't only be let down so many times before you're like whoever's in charge of all these movies do not know what they're doing.
Right. You just need to fucking reboot.
And especially when they pump it up like this is a change of direction. If we go in and it's still the same thing, I can't believe that hype anymore.
Yeah.
I think my other fear is that the same fear that we've had for Guardians, that's going to be too funny. That there's going to be.
I don't think so.
Well, every trailer they've ended on has been, oh, look at this one-liner. Well, it's not going to be funny when I see it now.
Well, that's true, but I think that's
it's
all.
more quippy. It's not really jokey.
If anything, I think it's going to be, and like they haven't showed the villains in the trailers, which is props to them.
Do you guys know the villain?
Yeah, I know who it is.
In the well, yeah, I know who it is too.
I mean, they kind of show him in one of them. You see a hint of it, and unless you know who it is, then it's like.
I still want to know. We forgot to tell me last week.
Well, write it down.
Really?
I'll tell you after.
Yeah,
we'll tell you. Next point here, Jonathan Hickman. Here's the man who.
Is that the point? Is Jonathan Hickman?
Yeah. What do you think of Jonathan Hickman? East to West, Black Monday Murders. The man is pumping out some great sci-fi books, horror books. Even I think we would consider that a horror book more than a sci-fi book.
What this?
Like Monday Murders, yeah.
I think he's a great writer. He's just so methodical that it takes a long time to get his material out, and that's fine. But, I'm glad he took Frontier back and was like, hey, I'm not ready for this. I think he's a guy that needs to be on one thing at a time. I don't think he can do more than one at a time. Because that just spreads it. Because isn't East and West is still coming out, right?
Yeah, it's good.
I would disagree that he needs to focus on one thing. But actually, the last issue of East and West was probably one of the weakest issues. Because you and I had no fucking clue what was going on. Even though I had read
But I don't know
31.
if that's a symptom of us just because of that. We haven't read it forever. Because it was a break, right?
It was like a month and a half later. Because it was 30 was the break. From 29 to 30 was the break. Then 31
But that's what I feel like for that series all the time.
It was a change of location, though. It had nothing to do with what was ending. It wasn't the train station or the train spot. It was something else.
I guess you're right, yeah. I mean, the thing is that
But it was him setting up a plot
I feel like he's a
point for
great
you.
writer. And when he has comedy in his books, I think it works. But a lot of his books aren't really... They don't have those warm moments that you get with any other book. Like, there's no character that's like... It's a lot of, like you said, it's like methodical. These characters are not good people in any of these books, really. Even if you get a book like East to West, the good people in that book are still...
They're bad guys.
Yeah, they're not that great anyways. They do bad things. So you get... It's basically like, that's most of his stories. Like, when you notice the New Avenger thing, he had heroes to work with, and they had, Spider-Man. Actually, Spider-Man was pretty great in that book, I thought. But when you get to...
His independent books are like Sin City for me. Everyone's actually a bad guy. They just depends on what side of the being bad you are.
I do like it though. I mean, I like the way he writes because I like when stuff is planned out and pays off.
Right.
And it does. I don't like people that write as they go and try to figure stuff out.
The nice thing about Jonathan Hickman is
Stephen King, though.
He's like Mark Miller. He works with the best. Same with Rick Remender. Works with the best artists.
Yeah.
Like the books he works on look beautiful.
Isn't he writing a different book too that I'm not aware of? Manhattan Project, I think, ended.
Yep. Even the second round?
I think it's over.
Okay, I don't know.
Speaking of a writer and an artist, Jeff Lemire. What do you think of Jeff Lemire? Speaking of warm, that's what I'm going to say about him. Warm. All his books, like, it's the opposite. It's about characters. It's about these people, and you really get to relate with them, and it's more about them than it is really the plot. Even though, like, Black Hammer has a plot that goes forward, I think
Royal City is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite independent books right now. I look forward to reading it because I know that art is going to be amazing.
Before you got here, re-listening to the playlist. I like the music.
I was thinking of more of like AD. Like, I think that's kind of like the Black Monday Murder Syndrome, where I get so much all at once that it's like when you're done, you're just like, oh.
You're starting to get withdrawal since it's been almost 2.5 months since we had it.
Yeah.
I also think, like, this man's been on fire. We got AD, we got Royal City, we got Black Hammer. He's been doing Old Man Logan.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy, I don't think has had a weak book in the last year. And to be doing that much stuff and still, like, hitting it out of the park, I think it's shows how strong he is.
Yeah, he's figured out some formula where he just knows what he's doing.
You know, the thing for me is that the weakest, a book that I would actually claim to be weak, but it's by choice that he does things, would be Black Hammer. All the little hints to other books, like, you know, Justice League or Thor's or Green Lanterns or whatever.
That did annoy me at first.
Whatever the little things that he's hinting towards. Originally, it did bug me. And even now I notice, it's like, but you know what? It's by choice that they're so...
I was going to say it's by design to show, basically, like, he wants to make a comment on these characters without using... He can't obviously use those characters. So he's just making a comment and making a replica of them, being like, hey, this is my Martian Manhunter. This is what I want to say about that character. This is my, Miss Marvel. Not Miss Marvel, Mary Marvel. And this is what I want to tell about it.
Mary Marvel?
Yeah, that's Gail. Mary Marvel.
Who's Mary Marvel?
It's
female.
Shazam's one of his group people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know much about Shazam, so...
Yeah, that's fine.
Captain Marvel.
I know her.
Which Captain Marvel?
You know, The Rock recently... DC said that they weren't sure if they're going to make a Captain Marvel movie anymore. Shazam, they said. And The Rock said they're still going forward with the Black Adam movie. And then in it, he goes, no, I'm still going to push them to do that Captain Marvel movie. And then he corrected himself. Then he goes, Shazam. And I was just like, oh, you can't really go Captain Marvel anymore. You get sued, Rock.
DC did it first, but Marvel bought it.
Next person actually on the list here, speaking of somebody
We didn't even say anything about it.
What, Jeff Lemire?
No, the last thing. You said something and you talked the whole thing. Like we didn't say anything association.
No,
There wasn't one.
No, that he was just pointing out that
Oh, I see
thing
what
was
you
the
mean.
Rock.
Oh, I thought you said...
He was going to lead to the next thing, and then he got off.
because he brought up-
I thought the topic
He brought up Mary Marvel.
was the Shazam movie. And I was like, I ain't going to say anything on that.
No, nobody knows
Shit.
anything. What are we
Not
going to say?
coming out.
It's not coming out. I mean, nothing's known about it. Matt
Lies.
Kent was the next thing. Matt Kent of Department H. X-O Man of War is what I'm reading, but is
I'm
anything-
reading Ether and then obviously Department H. Ether has been good. I love that book. And David Robinson is going to do an issue of Black Hammer.
I think this
soon.
guy is a nice mix of these last two people I said. His things also feel like
The
very
Rock
planned
and
out.
Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, Jeff Lemire, The Rock. Jonathan Hickman and Jeff
Bald
Lemire.
and Bald.
Ripped out of his mind.
Because he has a lot of like stuff he plans out, obviously, and like the things he works through. If you look in Department H, is like character sketches at the beginning, or is like how does this piece of technology work? But then you also get like his characters I think are really great in Department H.
Fucking terrifying, by the way. Department H number 12. It was 12 or
was good.
13.
12.
Holy shit! When that giant squid grabs that whale, I about peed my pants.
You guys should read X-O Man of War.
I thought about getting
That
it.
issue
can't
1
get a
is
new
so
book.
fucking good.
I thought about getting issue 1, but I'm kind of where Garrett
You
is.
just lost the book. Unfollow. There's a new
Yeah,
one.
don't worry. I've been getting more.
We had fucked up weeks this week of books, so I had buyer's guilt
Today?
yesterday. Like, it took me for like 3
today?
hours. Just it was so many fucking books.
Yeah.
It was a
And
big
I was thinking about, God, my wife doesn't have an expensive hobby. I was like, shit.
You pay for her and your Rob.
What did you want to say something about Matt Kent? You didn't say. Scary. You just said
Yeah, it's
Department H is
fucking
scary.
terrifying. I think his art is so like
I like his art.
his art is so good.
Took me a while to
It's-
get into it.
Yeah, it's a different kind of art, but I tell you what, maybe it's just being under the water. It was so fucking scary.
Yeah, it fits for sure.
I like also Charlene's colors in that book. Are awesome.
You know that the side thing where the water's rising? Like at first it seemed like it was really solid. Now you're like when you look at it, you're like, fuck, that's really high. It's getting high really quick.
We're getting to the breaking point.
Yeah.
You know what I realized actually? This is going to be embarrassing.
Oh.
The last issue of Department H we talked about on the show. And remember, I was like, I feel like I missed something. I didn't read the issue before that.
Oh,
I found it over here and I was like, what's this?
To be fair, I can say I did that too because there's that issue of Flash where I think he fights Mirror Master. Didn't read it. Read the issue.
That's the
after
thing,
that.
though. Like you said, yesterday was a big week. We read a lot of comics, and eventually, like it's hard to keep track of. Like even though I know what's coming out each week, once I get them, then it's like it goes out of my mind. I put them in a pile,
Yeah.
but like if it gets lost out of that pile,
Well, that's the thing is I used to do
But
the organizing. Okay, this is what I'm reading this week for our show, whether I have to catch up or not. Here's the pile of books that are just stacking up that are already a pile of books. Then there's other like ones and twos that I just need to catch up on. Those piles just mix and match now because I just fuck it. There's too many books.
that's what I mean. It's
How I do it is I will take the 6 for our show. The rest I do by company and I alphabetize them just to make it random.
I saw you. You're
And then
way more organized. Yeah, than
I always put the most recent comics behind the ones I had the week before. So that way there's no way I can miss them.
Oh,
I
that
mix
makes
them up.
sense.
Sometimes I read this week's comic. Sometimes I read one from 4 weeks ago. Next point here: DC Rebirth. What do we think? We're almost a year and a half in.
I love it. I think it's the best
Almost
thing that
a
ever
year.
happened to DC.
Yeah, almost a year
in.
Oh yeah, because my son was
Solid.
born when it came out.
Best thing that ever happened to DC in a long time.
Honestly, probably a saving grace for him.
Yeah, I think it's
New
success.
52 had its good things, but honestly, Rebirth has been super solid.
You know what's great about it? And when going back to what I was talking about before, and if you read interviews, I don't think they talk about it anymore, but if you go and read interviews around last May when they were starting it and how they changed their mindset and how they were going to go back and tell these stories, they got back to, getting together and saying, we're going to go back to basics. And basics wasn't just, let's go back and tell the stories we've always told. It was, let's go back and figure out what people like about these characters. And then they did something that is very smart. They said, okay, Batman writers, you'll meet like once a week. You'll get together in a room and be like, this is like everybody matches around ideas and figures out what's going on. So you make like these stronger books because there's more collaboration. And that's
Right.
what comics is.
It should be that.
And it's not
It
going to
wasn't
be,
before.
you're not really going to get a book anymore that's like out of left field being like, whoa. And I think that's where all these crossovers are coming from that are so contained in like 4 issues is that they get together and be like, hey, I'm working on this thing. And the guy's like, oh, I was going to do something like that too. Let's, work together with it.
Yeah.
And I think at least the ones I've read, I think I've read all of them. All the crossovers so far in DC Rebirth have all been great.
Yeah. You know how we got so excited for New 52 when we first started being friends?
Yeah.
Like the excitement that I was feeling for New 52 should have been matched with DC Rebirth, not what we got with New 52.
But
That's
the
what I'm saying.
the
How
problem
much
with
excitement.
New 52 is it was brand new and it's exciting.
It
Where
was.
For me, Rebirth was one of those, oh, we're going back to basics where I had never been before.
Right.
So I
It was
wasn't
a lot
as-
of hype. Yeah.
Right.
New 52, I mean. It was a lot of hype that eventually, like after a month or two, wore off, and you're like, like half this stuff's not good. And remember, I said that before DC Rebirth started. I was like, I'll probably get all number ones, and then I'll probably drop out half of them because they're not going to be good, just
Right.
like New 52. And actually, I don't think there's any of those books that are really bad. There's some books that aren't for me, and I know that, but it's not some of the books I think are still good. It's still people that really love them. I haven't heard anybody saying like any of those books are like horrible. Like New 52 was at least like a
what about
fourth to
Justice
half of
League?
them. Well,
but that might just be us.
I'm still staying on Justice League, and it's been getting slightly easier to read.
Worse.
But I'm just waiting until he gets off that book.
and you know what his problem is the thing I talked about with X-Men Gold. Too much plot.
Right.
It's like, let's,
No, not
rush
enough
the story.
plot. It's all just action.
Yeah, it's too much.
No,
action.
no more resting. No resting for the characters.
Right.
You know what book I haven't read yet was Trinity. I haven't read the two fillers. Like
I've read
knowing
'em.
knowing
They're
that
fine.
they're
They're fine. But they were, you just said filler.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. They weren't what they were originally
That art in
supposed
the
to
first
be.
one's good.
Really?
Yeah.
That one with the evil Trinity was pretty good. Now, story wise,
Right. It's like it doesn't really make
It's
a
like,
lot of sense.
well, I don't know. Yeah,
Let's just
it's,
throw these three together.
I still got to read
it's
them.
okay for what it is. But the second one is, I haven't read the second one either.
I haven't read the second one yet.
Oh.
That just came out last week. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping Monday's
Give me
going to
a
be like a catching up day.
Other side of the aisle, let's go and talk about an event, Secret Empire. What do we think so far? It's not that far into it, but we
Issue
hyped for it,
zero.
or what are we doing?
issue
Issue
1's
zero
next
is good.
week. Already.
If what we hear from Marvel is legitimate, that after Secret Empire is done, that we're going to have 18 months of just actually storytelling, great.
Asterisk. They said they did not include crossovers.
Crossovers are fine.
Yeah, I like crossovers.
I mean,
I know, but
DC's
crossovers
proven
can
that
be
they can do that.
events.
Crossovers can be done correctly. Marvel,
That's the
I've
thing,
seen.
I was going to say, it depends what
Right.
they classify as a crossover.
Right.
The
Exactly.
crossover for Marvel is going to be, here's a big event that takes over everyone's lives,
Right.
and it's a separate thing that we're going to charge more for.
Exactly.
So
That's the thing is like, so Secret Empire so far, I think is good, and it makes me hopeful for the rest of it. However, there's a lot of it that, and you know what? It's a symptom of me following Nick Spencer on Twitter. That man is like crazy.
Why?
So like any kind of criticism of his work or where Secret Empire is possibly going, he just attacks people online saying you don't understand what it is. Like rather than just being like, hey, read the book, let the art speak
He's
for itself.
letting the
He's
comments
like,
get
yeah.
to him, basically.
And I think actually that speaks to a lot of Marvel work that's been coming out recently. It's like they're really defensive about like the direction they take rather than listening to people being like, no, we don't like it for this reason. Like you said, the crossover thing, like the making things tie in for no reason. Like I'm okay with crossovers if it's necessary. And that's what all this DC Rebirth things feel like so far is like it's necessary to tell the story. And like I said, they sat down and were like, hey, we want to tell this crossover, Superman Reborn.
if I may, it's not that they're necessary. It's just that it's natural progression.
Yeah, natural progression.
Because I'm not being forced to get this button. It's like, actually, that makes sense. You've already initialized it in
And these were the two.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
And these are the two characters that it affected first.
And it makes most sense that these two would be investigating this.
So I mean, I guess for me, it's just one of those. It's not being forced on me. I feel it's a natural. This is how it's going to be. Same
Well, I
with
mean, Marvel's the
Superman
money.
Reborn.
Yeah, like Marvel's the money mongers. Like we still get paper covers for $4.99 books. Where DC we get $2.99 books
By
twice
the way,
a month for like
Secret
awesome.
Empire, I got it. And I was like,
Paper cover.
geez, what, like this is your event. Where's the good cover?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but it's a
how
zero
much of a
cover,
margin
zero.
do you think they get on
Last
that
year was
paper
zero,
cover?
zero, but
I know,
But, like, also,
the rest
like-
of the series will probably be a zero. I don't know the card stock they did for Civil War too.
I understand why isn't that just issue 1? That's what I understand
know.
about there's issue zeros and stuff like that. It's like what for what?
Well, yeah, think of it this way. Zero issue is probably going to be the biggest issue we get, where all the ones through 6 or however long it's going to be, it's probably going to be 20 pages, even less than par.
Usually a zero issue though is like a prelude, if not like setting up the big events. But like, so you're right. So much happened in issue 0 that you're right. It should have been
Should've
one.
been one.
Within the trade is going to be the first thing people read anyways.
Yeah.
So
I always thought zeros are going to be like Civil War 2, where we just tell you what the big deal was and then tell you again in issue 1.
But going back to just this event, I am hopeful that event, like what I've seen of it so far, with mixed rating, I think it's good. And if he just lets it speak for itself, I think it'd be better.
Well, you can put up anything against Civil War 2, and I think it's going to be better.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you're not...
There's not too high of standards right now.
There's one thing that Civil War 2 had. Marquez art.
Yeah, but this is going to have Sorrentino art.
Yeah.
You like Sorrentino.
No, I like Sorrentino, but I'm saying that Sorrentino's not for everyone.
That's true.
That's not... I mean, that's true.
Guest host 1 hates him.
He does. Is he going to read that event?
Which is wrong. Which is a wrong life
He
choice.
looked at it, he opened it up. Nope, not reading this.
But issue 0 was in Sorrentino.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I
he was already
liked issue 0. Like issue 0 was wordy, but you know what? It was actually scary reading that book.
Right. By the end, you're just like, fuck, this is going to be...
Which I realize, I at least think the story is going to be Captain's got to come out of it and fix what he's done.
Yeah.
And go, the only person who can fix this problem is Captain America. Fuck Hydra.
There's got to be somebody that's going to basically be his Reed Richards to Doctor Doom, or, like someone's got to be...
Holy shit, what if Reed shows up?
I'm sure there'll be something in this event that'll make me...
Sticks his arm out at him and waves at him.
I bet it's got to be somebody that's like really crucial to him in his life that's going to like shake him out of it.
Holy shit, his mom.
They've already done that.
She's in the story already.
Yeah.
In the past.
As I told you, Sharon's going to die.
Dead.
They've already proven that. Like, that's
she's already
the thing that he cares
95,
about.
so next thing's a heart attack. So
She's dead.
God.
I'm 100.
I don't know why. I still don't understand why they made her old, but whatever.
It made sense. I mean, he's got the super soldier serum that he's immune to being getting old, can't even get drunk. Now that she spent time in Dimension Z,
I suppose.
Maybe her hormones or estrogen fucked her over and now she's old.
But we'll see how it goes. But actually, the thing that leads on, I think it happens during this or after it, is Generations. I've been seeing Generations. I retweeted an article on Wednesday Comics, at Wednesday Cuts on Twitter. If you read that article, it actually brings up some good points. I think we actually have been talking about on the show for a couple of weeks about Marvel relaunching, like I said, going back to basics is what they're trying to do also. But I don't think they understand, like, what that means.
Yeah.
Because going back to basics for Marvel, it's not about, this
means money.
It's not going, we don't just want the original characters back. I don't need 500 books, to keep up on a story, like to read like half of them. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the reason why, like, I dropped a bunch of books and tie-ins and stuff like that. And going to this Generations thing, it's like, this is, 12 issues crossover?
Generations?
Yeah. It's like a 12-issue event within an event that each one is about the original and the person who took over for them.
Oh, wait, so they're already lying to me. There's another event going on.
It's happening while Secret Empire happens. So after Secret Empire, there's nothing because it's happening during it. There's 2 events going on at the same time.
Right.
So it's going to have basically, it's like Captain and Sam Wilson. That's going to be a book. It's called America or something like that. There's a book with original Wolverine and X-23.
Spider-Man, obviously.
Spider-Man and Miles. And like all these people. And it's like, no, I don't. The thing is that I don't need 2 Spider-Man books. I think I even talked about this like months ago.
You talked about it last week.
Make Miles the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Why? I don't need Peter Parker anymore. I don't need 2 Spider-Man books. I used to, there was a staple. There was a time when my staple Marvel was I always got a Spider-Man book and I always got a Captain America book. And then like eventually Spider-Man was like, that was their first book where they're like, we'll double ship it. And then eventually it was like, this is every like 6th issue was like $10. And that's eventually when they started doing that practice where I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do it. Yeah. And then for Captain America, it was like, oh, he's gone. Now it's going to be Sam Wilson. Oh, no, he's back. Now there's 2 books. If you want the full story, read both of them. And it's like, no, like it's expensive enough hobby that I don't need you already to give me $1,500.
Right.
And that
with paper covers that you don't get.
Yeah. And it's also like, oh, we can't afford to. And you know what it is? It's like, well, then quit putting out like 90 books.
Right.
Put out 40 contained, like 40 focused books. Give me back a good cover and tell me some stories. Like Back to Basics is not the original people. Back to Basics is good storytelling. Like we're happening to this, like we were talking before, separate connected universe. I don't need them always like going to crossovers and like all this stuff. Give me a Cap book that takes place in the Marvel universe, but it's all over Cap. It's only his people. Falcon and stuff, and Black Widow can show up and stuff like that. But I don't need a Cap book that's going to have, that's connected to everything and crossovers and stuff.
Well, they're not to go to their movies necessarily, but when I Phase 2, the ridiculous shit that Iron Man, Thor, and Captain had to deal with that actually probably should have brought in the Avengers, they didn't. They took care of it themselves. They all are aware of each other, but you know what? No one is. They're all man enough not to call their friends.
And you know the worst movie out of that whole bunch? I don't think it's in Phase 2. Maybe it's Phase 1. Is Iron Man 2 when
That's
they
phase
try
one. That's all Easter egg.
when they try to like throw everything in there. They're
It's
like,
Easter egg porn.
yeah,
That's all it is.
So let's make it more connected to the rest. And like, no, just make a good story is not gonna. I don't need you to connect it to everything. I understand that this is like their own thing. Like, just tell me a story about Captain America. Tell me a story about Miles, and Miles should be the Spider-Man of that universe. He's proven already that he is. And they
I don't know about that.
Well, and in the beginning of that of his Prime Earth, whatever they call it now, Marvel Prime Earth book that they restarted it in, he basically the Avengers got wiped out and he saved them but they still don't trust him enough to be the Spider-Man. You know what I mean? It's like he saved your ass, and then you're not going to make him the Spider-Man.
Technically, he's only been around like 60 issues, maybe.
But it's one of those things that
I don't think that's enough to give him.
You
Peter
can't
Parker
hand over the
adios.
mantle.
But that's the thing. It's not. It's people may like him, but we're still holding on to Peter Parker. That Peter Parker isn't willing to let up the mantle.
That's what I mean. It's like
So you got.
Well, they tried to pull Batman Incorporated. Miles Morales is going to be New York Spider-Man, and then Amazing Spider-Man would be international.
that's ridiculous.
but then when you get a crossover or something like that, Peter Parker's in New York. You know, he's hanging about.
That he's always there.
Well, there's a new Spider-Man miniseries coming up. Event.
But is that special anymore? Like they already exist.
They've done a
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
because they've
done a Spider-Verse.
Because they said Peter Parker even says to Miles, like, we need to talk about us both being Spider-Man. Sorry.
But that's what I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of the magic of Marvel was the separate connected universe, and now they're just like you said, it's like, let's make everything connected. And so people, like old people, like people who've been around in comics forever, is like, I can't keep up with this. It's too expensive.
Right.
If I want to do this whole thing. And then somebody new coming in, they read, in this article, it talks about how Black Panther actually was one of the highest selling Marvel books when it first came out, like the first 5 issues. And then Marvel was like, oh shit, this is selling? Okay, we're going to make 3 more books. Black Panther, World of Wakanda, Black Panther, The Crew. So now it has 3 Black Panther books. Yep. So it's like, no, what the heck are you doing? People liked it because it was its own thing. And now you have 3 books you got to read to keep up with Black Panther.
Right.
It's like, slow down. Because if you were somebody new and you saw Black Panther in Civil War, the movie, and then you go, let me go read Black Panther, and you go in there and you say, and then you see in the issue, be like, read more about this in Black Panther, The Crew. And you're like, another book? Like, how's you can't get in as a new person, and as an old person, you jump out.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see, but I feel like a lot of their stuff that they're showing is not a new direction. It's just, hey, we're going to please you guys by bringing back these old people.
It's just crazy how DC and Marvel's success is so opposite between film and like the actual comics that they're created from. Like DC's doing super successful with their comics, but their movies are suffering. Where Marvel's a complete reverse. Marvel's changing their comics to fit their movie universe and trying to sell more money.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
It's like Marvel thinks, oh, people like our books because of the movies, not realizing that people like the comics, and that's why they like the movies.
They like the movies because all the material coming from the comic books, but now there is nothing. They're just making new material. They're not even crediting creators, because you saw with Jim Starlin, they were like, peace. Like, thanks for a book that we're not going to credit you for. You know?
Whereas DC was like, this is our comic universe, and I think actually they've been good about that. They have like their own TV universe, movie universe, and comic universe because of their multiverse thing. Whereas Marvel's like, no, it's all one thing.
Right.
And it's like, no, really. They can't really make the movies and the books the same thing.
Right.
They're different.
I want the books and movies to be separate, but if you're going to do a TV universe, and I guess for me, I want them to make the reference to we are the same thing. I mean, that's why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. even started, was from Avengers.
But what Garrett was saying earlier, like the reason why that show works is they try to be like that first season. They were like, we're part of the movie universe, and then they eventually were like, let's just do our own thing.
I guess that's kind of like the Netflix shows do their own thing. They may reference someone, but they're not.
Well, they loosely are like the major events from those movies will leak sort of into the story, but not really enough to change
like I said,
the whole
separate
thing.
connected universe.
It was
the same
pretty badass
universe.
watching
but
season 1 when Civil War 2, when Captain America 2 came out, and then basically Hydra was everywhere. That was fucking cool.
Yeah. But and I know it feels like ever since this podcast started that we always do this bitch about Marvel, but the only reason I do is because I care so much about like how great it used to be.
Right.
It was great for a long time, and then eventually it really does come from that movie standpoint. They got greedy and was like, oh, people like our movies.
Right.
Let's make sure we, bleed, and maybe it's cynical to say that, bleed our existing readers as much as we can because we know they're going to buy it no matter what, which they don't. They just started dropping off. And that article actually talks
Not Garrett and I, of course.
Well, the article talks about it. Actually, the number one book for Marvel right now is Amazing Spider-Man, and that sold less than 75,000 copies, which is like, I think their line for cancellation is around 50 to 30. So it's not that far off. And like the next book in line is like around 50. And it's like they have one book that's selling.
No, it's not good.
And
DC's just doing too fantastic.
Which is weird because the three of us don't get that book.
But it's not also that it sells to people. Like, because all those numbers come from that they sell to shops.
Oh, I see.
And then I saw in the article also they reviewed a lot of retailers saying, yeah, we bought a lot of that because the number one issue last month was Amazing Spider-Man 75 because it was $9.99 and people in Norman Osborn came back. So people were like, oh, people are going to want to buy this issue. So they bought a lot of it and became number one. But in that article, it talks
Must
about...
be Amazing 25.
I don't know. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Well,
I thought it was 75
was-
in the article.
Oh, really?
But it's 75th anniversary or something.
Oh, okay. That I'll believe.
And then it talked about it in the last issue. It talked to some retailers. They're like, yeah, we bought a lot because other people would buy it, but I have tons left.
It's sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because you can't do that. You can't do like what Deadpool's been doing and all these things, like throw out a $10 issue.
Well, that's why he dropped it.
Yeah.
That's why a friend of the show, David, dropped it.
Yeah.
You can't be like...
It can't be every third issue is $10.
And I think also going back to it, and then I don't like making it a DC versus Marvel, but they're the big two, so you have to compare them.
Yeah.
When they do something big, it's like, DC Universe Rebirth. They could have made that $9.99 that first issue.
Yeah.
But they were like $2.99, 80 pages because we know we want to make sure you guys want to read this, get as big as audience as we can. And every time, like these button things, they could, if they were Marvel, they would be $6 each. But no, they're like, oh, $2.99.
And even the nice thing about when Rebirth came out, the Prime issue, I don't know, it just...
I just call it Rebirth.
Okay, so when Rebirth came out, Jeff Johns even goes, if you don't like it,
I'll give you your money.
you get your money back.
Yeah. Oh.
So there's even the idea that if you hate this book, you don't have to spend your money. Here, you get to have it back.
You should have bought
Invest
2
enough.
issues and sent one in so you can get a check from Jeff Johnson, just frame it.
Oh, shit.
A little late now.
But never going to get a retweet from that guy ever.
He's busy.
He retweets.
But I hope Marvel gets back on track. I'm very hopeful that the Secret Empire that's the word I'm going to use, Secret Empire. I'm very hopeful that it actually turned out to be one of their great events because the last couple haven't been that great. Even Secret Wars, even though I think the last couple issues were like...
Right.
But the thing
Plus
was...
they were delayed and their universe was rebooting before the event was over.
Yeah, that's the thing also is like it ruined it because when they rebooted the universe from this universe ending, we found out that nothing happened. It just started back where before Secret Wars started. So
Secret Wars Cloud.
What happened?
Exactly.
There's
Secret
a-
Wars Cloud.
Well, but that right there just shows you that all Marvel was thinking about was how can we make money and bleed our readers,
Right.
and then have to make all these side things to fill in the books they're not going to get for 7 months.
Oh, the Netflix series is doing good? Secret Wars Cloud. Guess what? They're exactly like the TV show.
I'm glad you brought that up because you know what pissed me off this week when I was reading X-Men Gold? So Power Man and Iron Fist was actually great because it was different. It was like the art style was very different, stuff like that. And then I got sucked into a crossover and I was like, or into the event, and that's when I dropped it. But also I saw the ad for the new one. It's like, looks like the Netflix series. Like he dressed the same
Defenders?
thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like the same. And I was like, okay. Like when am I just make your comics?
The
I did it for years and years and years and it was good.
the only thing about Defenders that's going to be nice is that Marquez is on the art.
And Ben, well, I can't say that.
I
Bendis
can't.
is writing it,
I can't agree with
Bendis
him
used
being
to
the
write
best.
Defenders. So.
Which Jessica Jones was a Secret Empire. And I was like, she looks exactly like the Netflix series in that book. And I was like, oh, okay.
But to be fair, that's how she's always looked. And what I love about the Jessica Jones series now, it's literally a direct sequel to Volume 1 Jessica Jones.
No, really.
But in
Yeah,
Hawkeye,
it's-
at least, it's like she tried to make her different in that Hawkeye book. You know what I mean? It's not just a one-for-one comparison. Even though if it's inspired from the books, it's not like, hey, let's make it look like, what's her name, Kristen
Kristen Ritter.
Ritter? It's
Yeah.
like, let's make her look like her. It's like, that's what Luke Cage, if you see that ad.
Instead, they made her look like Hawkeye.
Oh, Kate?
Yeah. Kate and her were hard to tell apart in that book.
That has been a comic book association. Let's hope Marvel gets back on track. I'm tired of complaining about it.
Yeah, you got to find the tracks so you can get back on track. I mean, I think they're so far out. I mean, it's just crazy. For somebody that loves money grabbing, I can't believe their core superhero team, and I've said this before, I know you need diversity and new heroes and everything, but I can't believe Hulk's gone, Thor's unworthy, and like you barely see
Captain
him.
But I don't think that's going to save them if they bring them all back, unless there's good stories out of it. You know,
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, but you see how they're going to renumber their books to their old number. That's not going to do anything either. That's just logistics.
That too. Yeah, that's what that was telling. I think we said this a couple weeks ago. I was like, that just proves those numbers don't mean shit.
Yeah.
If you just renumber it and be like, by the way, Venom 150 is coming out. It's like, yeah, but it's been restarted like 3 times in the last 3 years.
Could you imagine going on like a comic book database and trying to find volumes of one comic?
Hey, look, if you look up All New Wolverine, it's like no, Captain Marvel. If you look up that, it's like there's like 4 number ones that came out in the last 3 years. And it's like if I was going to do the comics, I'd be like, just the fucking one I got to read. You know what I mean? It's like how we always talk about just jump in, but it's very hard when you have this renumbering for no reason. I really do think that they really should just do and go and be like Captain Marvel May 2017 issue. Get rid of the fucking numbers. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking for that number 1 doesn't mean anything. It's not a collector's issue anymore. Nobody's going to go, hey, did you get number 1? Oh, which one? The one last year or the one this year? What does it matter?
It's almost getting to that point where DC and Marvel could just do every year. You only have 12 months to tell the story in a book. Then next year it reboots.
That's what I mean. Like, just have it be the month and the year.
Yep.
What does it matter?
Well, I mean, that's actually how it started. Like those
That's what I mean. Yeah, periodicals.
comics, like way back in the 40s and everything, it was like they were like a quarter. You'd get one book per like business quarter, like 3 months.
Yeah. All you do by putting a number on it is the thing you don't want is you want spectators to be like, oh, number 1 issue, I'm going to buy a bunch of them. And then it inflates those numbers and then number 2 doesn't sell. And then you're like, well, let's restart number 1 again because that sells. And it's like it only sells because you have some people that believe number 1's going to be worth more. But if you put out 4 number 1s in 3 years, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They're still $2.99 or $3.99.
Plus, that's going to be a headache of a job for whoever's at Marvel putting together that numbering to figure out what issue Captain Marvel's on.
They probably don't give a shit. They probably just put 1 on stuff.
No, they're going to put it. They're going to go back to the original numbering. Wednesday, Jesus Christ. Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Send us an email. You can find us on Twitter at Alex Pastrello, at Garrot2188, at Marvin_Sagwell. If you want to know how to spell it, look at my notes on the podcast. At Wednesday Comics on Twitter also. And find us at Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. Find us on iTunes, rate, review, subscribe, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. Also, if you want to find every, we're starting a new thing now, Wednesday Comics Forecast. We got Alex the Weatherman telling us what's coming out, and Garrett, the news anchor, giving us a rundown on what's coming out. If you want to listen to that in an easy way, there's an app called Anchor. It's a little radio station. We got that show on there, but also comes out on the podcast feed for you guys. Make sure to visit our sponsors. Get it ready for that free comic book day. Save your pennies. Get in line. RainbowComicsandCards.com. Or you can find them in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or Lincoln, Nebraska. Siouxpercon coming up all the next week afterwards. Make sure to save your pennies for that also. May 12th through the 14th. Wednesday Comics will be there. We'll say hey. You want to talk about Marvel? I'll talk about Marvel all day and night.
Shit. Yeah, sure.
Want to talk about Secret Empire? There'll be 2 more issues out by then. If we can talk about it. Issue 1 and the free comic book day issue. We'll talk about it for you if you want to. Visit our also sponsor, Mr. John Boylan, on Twitter at DC World Swampy or at rootsoftheswampthing.com, facebook.com/roots of the swamp thing. The man's looking for some collaborators for Hollow Files number 2. Go ahead and find him on those avenues and let him know if you're interested.
And also to say, Mr. John Boylan made us awesome Supercon shirts. So we'll be wearing those shirts designed by him at the con. So you'll be able to check those out as we're all wearing them.
John Boylan, good. Thank you, sir. I was going to say good luck, but then I was like, what? What am I talking about?
Good luck.
Okay, Walter Cronkite.
Yeah. Good night and good luck.
That's not Walter Cronkite.
Whatever. News anchor. I don't care.
Jeez.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Wow.
What is Walter Cronkite? I said in the show one time, you guys.
Oh, and that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. I said in the show one time, you both looked at me like I was crazy.
It's not a good tagline.
That's the best. Walter Cronkite? Like I used to come in your TV every day.
And that's the way it is.
Don't you dare. That man's a legend among legends. There's only 3 legends in this world. Jack Kirby.
That's 1.
Walter Cronkite.
That's 2.
No.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Gotta marry one, fuck one, kill one. Go.
Garrett.
Episode 44, 145 next week. That's 45 weeks of this banter. Hope you enjoy it because we'll bring you some more banter next week. I'm Marvin.
I'm Alex.
I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone, keep turning those pages.